This is not.
All right, here we go.
Don't worry, that wasn't live.
It's not. Well, we're not live.
We're live now. That wasn't live.
Son of a bitch. All right, well, here we go. All right, welcome to the 65th episode of You Have It at Halo, where we talk about everything to do with one of gaming's most storied franchises, and where it's never a You Had Me at Halo show unless we start a little late and a little off kilter. So guys, it's been over a year of Halo Infinite, and you know what else? Tier lists are fun. So
yes.
So
and combative, so let's see how that goes.
They, and they can definitely get us talking. But
There's a specific conversation that I'm looking forward to having about even making this tier list, but we'll get into it later.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun today. We're also gonna touch a little bit on the Midwinter Contingency 2 update. But before we get into everything, let's go ahead and meet today's Spartan team. First up, we got Spartan Aarsal, aka Mr. Soulblazerz. Happy holidays, man! And look forward to the last show of the year. How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling pretty good. Though, hey, it may not be my last show of the year. I'm just saying. We'll see.
Oh, okay. Well, it's the last show.
But wait, sorry. What was the question again? Yes, I'm doing pretty good. I am exhausted. I'm not gonna lie. I completely. I heard one thing
tuned you out. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Today was.
This is like my ex-wife.
This is. I work at a shipping place, and this is like the busiest week of the year. So it's just like, ugh, God. It should be over though. It should hopefully be over. Yeah.
Soul's been on his crunch. He's been.
Basically.
We got to call Jason Schreier. They've been working Soul to death. So we're going to try to prop him up and get the show going. What was that movie where they propped up the dead body through the movie?
Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah, Weekend at Bernie's. So today it's going to be like Weekend at Soul's. All right, next up we got Spartan Austin, a.k.a. Mr. AustinFordGames. How you doing?
Howdy! I'm doing all right. It is cold as hell right now. I live in South Central Texas, for people who aren't aware, and it is currently let's refresh that, 26 degrees outside with a wind chill of 10 degrees. I was really hoping my camera would adjust, and it didn't. That's fine.
But for reference, that is -3 Celsius for anyone that uses real temperatures. It's pretty damn cold.
Ooh, well, over here in Michigan, we don't feel sorry for you. We're about to get buried in the ice age, I guess.
Yeah, though I swear, I don't think it's as cold as it is over there.
-12 degrees, Soul, for the wind chill there.
What? 26 Fahrenheit?
No,
with
10 degrees. 10 degrees.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? The snow just adds another layer to everything. So we're gonna get buried in snow, and then over here, whenever we foresee one of these things coming, everybody just loses their damn minds. Like really, they prepare for the end of the world. It is like they pull out the zombie apocalypse survival kits.
Well, look, the last time it snowed here, the whole state went down. So
yeah, but I mean, Michigan, like it should be used.
Of course.
To
we should be used to it, right? Like it feels like so, and you're not too far from me, even though you're in Canada.
You're above me, all right? So you should be colder than I am. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it feels like the first time every time. I forgot laundry detergent, and I went up to the store, and there was a line wrapped around the store. People are just stocking up on cans in case just to live, because if we already hit the ice age, those cans will keep you living at least another day longer. So yeah.
Man, I remember, quick side tangent, but I'm growing up. I'm in school, high school, elementary school here, whatever. We get like a little bit of snow, like 5 inches or something, like really small. And only thing I hear is Michigan's closed their schools. Their schools are closed. Their buses are closed. It's like barely any snow, but right there it's closed. And it takes us to get like 2 feet of snow. Then they're like, okay, the school's still open, but our buses aren't working. All right. So you still got to come.
It was funny last year when all the businesses and everything started shutting down as the storm started to get over here. We like everything started closing down when like the roads got icy. It wasn't even necessarily snowing yet. Like I was still working in a retail environment at that time, and we like shut down the second we saw snowflakes outside. We were like, all right, like we live too far away from this place to drive in this later, so we're leaving.
Oh man.
I hadn't even heard of snow tires until I was in my 20s.
Yeah, snow tires are a must, but that is a
Oh,
large
man.
snow tangent.
Yeah, that was a large snow
Well,
tangent.
I think it really leads well into the fact that right now in Halo Infinite, the Winter Contingency 2 update is live. It is a 10-tier new free-to-play Battle Pass event with some cool featured playlists, Team Snipers, Social BTB this week, with some fun little goodies in there, like a Santa Claus hat, a little grenade ornament, some other cool stuff, mostly emblems, of course, as we've kind of come accustomed to expecting with these smaller updates or these smaller events, and then some premium event items in the store as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. This update's not. I think a big story.
Well, of course.
I think there is something that was interesting though. There was some data miners that expected some, I guess, more creative events that were supposed to come out of it. I think it was like there was some, I can't remember what it was called, some glow ball or something like that was going to be making its way. I think
There were
they
the
kept it
antlers
really
too. Remember they were leaked? a while
Yeah,
back?
there was a few things missing, I think, from where people saw in the data mines, and I mean, at the end of the day, I think that the only thing that I kind of take away from that is they reprioritize things and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's just lower.
Also, I mean, in
priority.
general, don't take like things that are data mined to mean like gospel. You know what I mean? A lot of times the stuff they're experimenting with are still in the files, and that doesn't mean anything anymore at all. Right? Like,
My favorite example of this is there was a rocket launcher in Destiny 1 that was data mined. And I can't remember what the original name for it was, but it was back in like the Taken King era. So like year 2 of Destiny 1. It was an exotic rocket launcher, and it looked super cool. Looked like a giant microphone. And it never came to the game. It ended up being an exotic in Destiny 2.
yeah, that's that's crazy though. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
So
You
maybe
can't
we'll
take-
get antlers in the next Halo game.
Can you believe it? They split that content up and they took it all out of the base game. Just to sell
Recycled
you.
content.
Oh god. How dare they?
Just wait until like Halo Infinite or whatever its sequel is have been around long enough where people start bitching about like, we already paid for this content. Why are we playing it again?
Yeah. Though admittingly, it did blow my mind a little when I heard that Warzone 2 had nothing carry over. That kind of like I get it. I get why it makes sense, but like, dude, people spent like hundreds of dollars on Warzone. You know?
Well,
Like,
I think the expectation should be that if you're playing a live service game and you're spending money on it, it's not ever going to carry over to a
That's true.
sequel.
Yeah.
Like Halo Infinite's cosmetics will likely not carry over to whatever the next Halo game is.
Infinite.
You should also the expectation should always be, if it's Activision, always assume the least for your money.
You'd think so, but like WoW has had like armors from like 20 years ago. You can still wear and transmog them now.
I think Blizzard's a little bit different. They
Yeah,
have
fair
a different
enough.
audience.
Fair
to
enough.
appeal to. Activision customers, Call of Duty customers, have been accustomed to
Which is why like I guess there was no big
paying.
hubbub about it because I heard it. I'm like, wait, what the heck? But yeah, Winter Contingency 2 is live. Big Team Battle Social's back, which is nice. The playlist, I guess the main thing to talk about is just how quickly you can go through the event pass. Like, I didn't get much time to play this last, 3 days, and I played maybe like 2 hours or even less. And I'm like more than halfway through the Winter Contingency stuff. It's just...
Yeah. It's just there to give you something, something that wasn't that was a surprise. I will say in the future, I do. These are going to be opportunities for Infinite once they get the priorities out of the way. They get the web browsers, they get the performance fix, they get all this other stuff that we'll probably dive into when we do go through our tier list here. Once they nail the important opportunities, I think this is a game that really lends itself to times of years like this. Like you are having fun, right? You're putting on Santa hats, much to Mike's chagrin. By the way, Mike, I am going to wear the damn Santa hat, and I will teabag you while I'm wearing it every single time if you say anything. No, like these are times where you can really have fun with it, and we know, the Halo Sandbox has a lot of opportunity, to do goofy fun things, and I think they're aware of it, because that's been some of the feedback all year, especially the second half of the year, so hopefully next year when some of this stuff gets ironed out, they can start to do some goofy things right for these times of years. Any other thoughts on that, you guys?
No, I mean, I'm super interested. Like, I remember being pretty averse to it in some of the other live service games that I play, some of the other like MMO style games that I play, like the sillier cosmetics and like these events and stuff. This feels like, I don't mean this in a negative way. This feels very much so like a bare minimum. Like, if you call your game a live service game, you should probably have a winter event. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not necessarily a bad thing. It is fairly bare bones.
I mean, the battle pass is, I think, fine.
No, totally. And like,
but it is lacking an event, like a playlist.
It's lacking like a unique game mode.
Yeah. Like, for example, even Big Team Battle Social had, that was in the what was that mode called again? The event playlist. I mean, the event that happened at that time with the grunt stuff and the
the
yappening. Right?
The happening. Thank you.
That had its own playlist. It was a really fun playlist. I definitely think like they probably wanted to, and they just weren't able to get it out in time. I don't know.
Same. Yeah.
Well, totally. I think that, as you know, like Abe said, I think that this shows some prioritization on things that they see as more important. And as time goes on, and as they get more comfortable with the live service part of this game, I think that we'll see bigger and bigger events like this. I think that this is just if you could call it anything, if you're super disappointed with it, I guess you could call it a growing pain. But like, I feel like this is pretty standard fare stuff for a game like this. I think that this is a very serviceable winter event.
Yeah. I mean, it gives me something to grind towards. And I found out something about myself in the last, I guess, back in like when I finished the first season way back, but even now more so, is I'm like so vain when it comes to these games. I need some kind of bar that progresses towards something that I actually want to use and I want to do. So normally I was hoping the winter update battle pass would be that bar, but then I bought the wolf shoulders, and like the main thing I wanted from that pass was just the shoulders, but I already have a good pair. So now I'm just waiting for like the challenges to be things I don't have anymore, because I have most of the challenges already.
So that is going to be a great tie-in, but we're going to save part of that tie-in to discussing this game 1 year later. So obviously,
really quick.
Oh yeah.
Do you guys think the challenges go almost too fast? Like, I looked at them now, and were almost like they were easy, and there was a welcome change, but it's almost a little boring. Where it's like play 3 games. And then
can I tell you? I think the worst thing is that there maybe are too few challenges now. I don't mind them being easy.
Yeah, they finish too quickly.
I think the challenges are too few, and I think the XP that you get both for just playing the game and from the challenges is too high. I completed the Winter Update 30 tier battle pass in a week, and I did not play a lot. I just min-maxed XP boosts.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, maybe I should have done that, huh? I didn't bother with the XP. I have like 60 or 70 saved up, and I haven't done them yet.
they definitely haven't got it. And so I think that's going to be something we can save for when we get to the multiplayer portion of the tier list, because we got to talk about that progression and some of the opportunities. Obviously, they've jumped around a little bit.
Well, and we all know that the XP progression right now is a beta.
Yes.
But do you think it's beta as in like they'll increase it or decrease it?
I think that they will change it based on community feedback. I genuinely don't know what the general consensus is right now. I worry about it because I feel like the most that I've heard has been it is great. It is perfect as it is. And I think that it's great for people that want like immediate satisfaction, because like I said, I finished it in a week. But I don't think that it's in a place where 343 wants it to be, where it keeps people playing.
All right, so let's let's go ahead and try to move forward to the tier list. Because like I said, I think a lot of these things are going to come back.
There is a little bit more before the tier list, if you want. The little tiny stats 343 released.
Oh yeah. We can.
Right,
I guess we can.
It's really tiny.
Can talk about that. All right, go ahead. Bring that up.
Oh, I don't have it.
What the hell? What the?
I'm working on.
What stats are you talking about?
Okay, so
I'll get it.
For behind the scenes making of the You Had Me at Halo podcast, these two guys are making me promise not to hold them here
behind the scenes. This is behind the scenes.
This is behind the scenes.
It's happening right now.
Today isn't supposed to be a 4-hour podcast, right? Like we.
Oh god.
So the goal is to keep it moving.
I don't see any stats. What are you talking about?
Here, so I have it up on.
It was from an
the
interview, was it? Or
now?
wasn't it?
It was just in their like little festive thing, but I have it up in the
Yeah.
thing. And so they're basically saying, "Hey, what a year! Launching Halo Infinite's multiplayer experience on the day we celebrated the 20th anniversary was awesome." Let's do a quick stats rundown. So in this year of Halo, they've had 170 million multiplayer matches played, 50 million campaign missions played, 16 billion Spartans slayed, 2 billion bots dispatched, 6 million Spartans ninja'd, screw anyone that ninjas, and 130,000 maps made in Forge over
That's
the last
the
like
only one
3
that
weeks.
stuck out to me.
Yeah, holy crap.
The rest of that is just like,
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
just
even know.
it's like when you get like those infographics from Sony of like 10,000 dinosaurs were killed or some weird stuff like that.
It's like, those are stats nobody gives a.
I
mean,
do love these numbers. This feels very old school Bungie to like, especially to include the ninjas. I think that feels very like classic, like Halo 2, Halo 3 era Bungie. But like, yeah, the 130,000 Forge maps is
That's
bananas.
insane.
That's crazy
That's
cool.
insane.
I wonder now. I do wonder if that is Forge maps that have been uploaded, or if that's straight up like the files that they're storing on across their servers right now on people's individual profiles.
Yeah, good question, right? I think maps made implies it's probably the ones they have stored, because a lot of people haven't uploaded their thing.
I think the bottom line of this is there's more maps than anybody has time to review, which is why a curation system is so important. And in Austin, as we know, we have a solution to that issue. On a side note, some of the maps that are coming out now are, I mean, we saw a few of them at the very beginning from the Forge team that were really impressive. I know John, who is actually popped into our chat here for a moment, just put out a video showing some of the making of the Perilous, which me and a group of guys played this. Some of them were content creators and stuff like that, played this and really good feedback, I think, on the earlier version. So we haven't tried the
I played it a bit earlier too. My biggest thing I wanted was a repulsor. I feel like it worked so well in a map like this.
Oh yeah, just knocking people off.
No, not even knocking people off. There's fences, just because the verticality. The map has so many like ups and downs. It'd be really nice to add that element to it.
Yep. But and then there also was Damnation just came out from Infinite Forges, which that
looked
also
amazing.
is extremely pretty. So some of these maps, again, you really, as far as the top end of what's been coming out, is equivalent to developer maps from at least from a layman standpoint. I get there's more into map design than just visuals, but from a layman standpoint, this looks and feels legit. Like you could just throw it in a playlist, and I would never have questioned.
Honestly,
whether it was a developer one or not. So
man, I didn't realize Damnation was a remake of the flippin' that Halo CE map, dude. And then when the transition came, I'm like, oh yeah, it is. I played this map a lot. What's it called? Chillax? No.
Portals, I figured you would recognize.
Yeah, exactly. You see the shiny green stuff, and you're like, oh yeah, I know this. This is it.
That's Soul's favorite. So yeah, that was an interesting stat. So we'll come back on that as well. All right, so guys, let's jump into it. And what we decided we wanted to do is really take a look at the game. It's been over a year now, and there's been some updates. And there's two reasons we do this. One is because with Halo, we know like the aftertaste of Halo games sometimes changes the more you play it, the more times you go through the campaign. And we wanted to kind of see if some of our opinions from some of our initial impressions, or even where we thought the game was after playing it for a few weeks, if that's kind of holding up in some areas, if it got better or worse. And then also we know that there's been some updates too, right? So we are going to basically cover all the major components here. And so do you, I'll flip it over to you. You can kind of lead some of that. Since you did put together the tier list, and we could discuss these areas, and we'll do a roundtable, rank them. Anybody in the chat, you want to jump in, fight us on any of this stuff, feel free. Makes
also, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and link this little tiny tier list I made in the chat, because I think we can do that.
Awesome.
Yep, I linked it, so I'm gonna go ahead and post it up on the screen too. But so basically, we just thought, hey, you know what? Everyone loves tiers, right? It's never leads to any arguments or anything like that. Let's let's rank Halo Infinite based on tiers. Now, this is a little iffy because it's like tiers are comparative, right? So it's always kind of like, so what does an S mean? Like, what are we comparing this to? And I'm still not 100% sure. I'll be honest.
All right, let's set the standards now. This is
Yeah.
compared to Halos. Let's just say it's
So let's
compared
just
to
say like
Halos.
Halo in general.
You could if you want to throw in other top shooters for campaign and things like that as a comparable, that's fine as well. But I think more than anything, these are Halo fans rating Halo, so let's rate it up against what we think are expectations for a Halo game.
Okay, so if you're looking at the screen, you'll see that for the campaign, honestly, the discussion is I feel like more so be the multiplayer. But for the campaign, we have 6 categories to tier for Halo Infinite: the gameplay, the game/level design, the music, the story and characters, co-op, and the visuals. Which one do you guys want to start with first?
Let's do gameplay last because I feel like that's probably takes the most time to talk about.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Let's. This whole thing started with Craig face. Maybe we should do the visuals.
I think. Man. Okay. I'm thinking. I almost wonder if it would be more fun for us to throw our individual tier lists up.
Oh, you know what I'm thinking? You know what I could do?
And then we can take an average of all of ours.
Oh, you know what? I have an idea. Give me a second. Give me a second. I have an idea. You
guys
keep
behind the
discussing.
scenes again, guys.
You guys keep discussing.
No, so I think we'll go ahead and start talking about the visuals while Soul is
visuals.
Sort of
I mean, I can talk
that.
visuals while I'd work. On
I will kick off and say that I was very impressed with Halo Infinite's visuals back in 2019, or sorry, in 2020 when they first showed them off. I mean, the 2019, 2018, whatever it was, the first trailer they ever put out, I thought was stunning. Unfortunately, I don't feel like the visuals ever improved beyond the initial showing, where we see Chief walking towards what would eventually become the weapons, like little bubble. And I don't know that the visuals matured, and I don't think that they're aging well already. There are like little quirks about the game's visuals that I'm already like, man, this is going to be frustrating to come back to in like 5 years. I think it's always been my problem with most games where like the more realistic a visual style tries to be, the worse it ages. And I think that there are components of Halo Infinite's sort of visual identity that are going to age poorly. I think that there are some of it that will age beautifully. I think the Covenant look beautiful. I think that the aliens look wonderful. Maybe the best they've ever looked in the games, period. The Brutes, not so much, but like all of the other aliens look amazing. Even the newer aliens, the Skimmers and the oh my god, what is her name? The main bad guy that dies.
Yeah, Endless.
I can't remember what her name was. The Harbinger. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the Banished Forces looked fantastic. I think that the world itself looks pretty solid, but I don't think it holds up against most games, even that came out in 2021. I think that it is completely serviceable. And like, to wrap up my conversations so somebody else could talk about it, I have like zero problem put this for me in a B tier.
Yeah, I think B. What do you think, so? We'll let you go, and I'll.
I mean,
first,
so I replayed. I guess for reference, I replayed the campaign just like a couple weeks ago. In fact, I was playing it in between sections of Ragnarok, and it was God. I gotta tell you, it was really welcome playing a game that didn't just like force you into little tiny goddamn pigeonholes, and it's like you do what you want to do. But anyways, and I kind of disagree. I still regularly took some screenshots where like some of the vistas especially still looked really good, in my opinion, compared to what they did before. I definitely agree it's not like as like breathtaking or as like immediately like, wow, this looks really good that it was when I played back in 2021. That's for sure. But at the same time, I like a B is still fair. I get it, right? But is the B compared to other games at the same time? Is it compared to previous Halos and how they looked when they released? You know what I mean?
For me, the way that I'm thinking about this is kind of twofold. It is a little bit of like things that came out around the same time, like what were games doing at that time, especially for visuals, but also like just in the last year, how well it's aged in the last year compared to how I feel other Halo games have aged in their time spans.
Yeah.
I will also like make an addendum because of a point that Soul made. I think like Vistas, I think like Skybox, I think it looks fantastic. Don't get me wrong, but I think like closer details are lacking a little bit in some places, and
I can
not
see that.
in
Some
others.
of the textures look a little rough. Yeah.
Yeah. First of all, I guess spoiler. I'm going to go right to B tier. I think that's where we're going to kind of end up with this thing. But just a few little slight nuanced differences. For me, it was inconsistent, right? Like I thought that where they did well was the identity, the art style, kind of like recapturing Halo from that standpoint. And I appreciated some of the simpler, less detailed because it makes it more playable for me.
Best Forerunner aesthetic that we've gotten since like Halo 3 by far.
Like I had issues because I've replayed all the Halos multiple times, and 343's previous ones sometimes would get too busy. This one I think just was, for somebody who's got older eyes, I think the simpler look the cleaner look helps you really in terms of just the visual awareness, especially when you just get into the wider sandbox. So I really like that direction they went in. I think from a technical level, it was inconsistent. You get far back and you can start to see pop in or shadows like just go away and things like that. So, it's B. I think there's still a lot of room for improvement in some of the details. I do hope they stay down the path though of kind of the simpler art style without
100%.
too much detail.
I mean, the art style is still really clean.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's one thing I think it has really, really going for it. Well,
all right. So we got B.
I think I still really liked how it looked. I'll be honest, especially as I go through the art design in general, the lighting in a lot of the places. Night could have been definitely a little darker than what it ended up being.
Yep.
But it's like a mix between like an A- and a B+ for me for the campaign.
Well, so that means.
So I guess I'll go A. I'll go A. I'll be the outlier here, and I'll go A, and that kind of balances it down to a B+ when we add us together.
As a team, we're at B though. All right.
B+. B+.
Oh yeah, I mean for me it is a high B, but it is a B.
All right, I think we're good there. All right, what is next up, Mr. Soul?
Next up will be, and sorry, I'm almost done, and it's just gonna be kind of nice, so we actually can visually follow our thoughts as we go through it. I should have realized I could have done this earlier when I did it. But next up, campaign, right? I mean, what about co-op? I mean, did you guys play the game in co-op yet?
I haven't beat the game in co-op. Like I didn't play every aspect of the game in co-op, but I have played a few hours with a few different groups, and I would say the reason why. Well, I'll get into some. I guess I'll start on this one.
Okay. All right, yeah.
This game feels like it's really is made for co-op with the wideness of the environments and everything and the sandbox. But the one thing they really, and I think this is something they can still fix in the near future, the issue is the game becomes way too easy in co-op. And I feel like it just became kind of like a shooting range. You really don't get to experience the sandbox because you don't need, like, you're not really trying to like hide behind stuff. And, it's really,
how many people were you playing with?
I've done it with 2 or 3. So I haven't done it just two of us basically.
Oh, so like 3 people playing or 4 people playing.
Yeah, 3 or 4 people playing. So in those instances, really it becomes a race to see who gets the most kills. And so maybe if you had a scoring system, that would be fun. But we're just running out in front of each other trying to see who gets it. And this is even on legendary. So I think they got to increase the difficulty to make that more intense. So I'm probably. I mean, I know people have enjoyed it. I can't go any higher than a B though for co-op. I mean, I'm almost down to C because of that aspect. But that could be just a personal thing, right?
Did you try putting on the Thunderbolt skull?
No. Maybe that's what I missed.
So there are 2 skulls you can do to make the game harder, right? There's one that increases the health of every enemy you face. There's one that ranks up every enemy. So fewer
Well,
grunts that are immediate one shot, that kind of stuff.
So user, all right, we'll stick with B then for now until I do that. Good call out though, so.
Okay, I got it ready. Yeah, so so if you F11, cool. Let me switch it over. So basically what I did was, lo and behold, oh, well, you guys already, damn, stop spoiling me with your tier lists. No. I'll get to it as I go. Where the heck's my OBS? Here it is. All right. So if you take a look at the screen, you'll see that I now put tiers and our names next to it. So then we know which one put which one where. Should have done this from the get-go. Very simple. All right, so let me see. So we did visuals first. OBM, did B. Actually, Austin went first, so go back down. Austin did B.
We should also throw in just the average. You should get that up there. Like,
Okay, well.
No, you really over-engineered the hell out of this thing, man.
What do you mean? I'm not.
It's fine. It's fine. We'll throw one together at the end. It'll be fine.
The other option. This is simple.
Yeah. All right.
So I'll touch on co-op next. I think I'll just start off with my honest thoughts on it, which is that it is easily an A for me. Mm-hmm. I think the only things, like legitimately, the only thing that keeps co-op being an S tier experience for me is the limited scope at which you can explore. Not that it's a bad thing. I think it honestly helps to keep co-op contained in a way that is important. I mean, yeah, if you want to use their buzzwords that they used. I think the freedom of an open world means that I want to explore the open world.
So I had a similar problem. So I played with two other people in my playthrough, right? And I could kind of tell one of them just wanted to beat the game as soon as he could, right? I wanted to just keep playing, have a good time doing it. But so basically we were trying to we were kind of forced to just be as efficient as possible. Like, hey, you go get that thing, you go get that thing, you'll go get this thing. And honestly, for like 70% of the time, the tether was far enough that it worked for me. But like a lot of times it'd be like, yeah, we can't. Like, we're going to get... Or what happens more often was they just die because there's enemies everywhere and it's legendary. So they can't take on too many people and they respawn who knows where, right? So...
I think so. For me, the restrictive nature of it, which again, I understand and I appreciate, and I don't think it hurts it so bad that I would throw it anywhere below an A. But that and the difficulty, even with skulls on, I think keeps it at an A for me.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I mean, A's a really good score for anyone watching. Obviously, that's man. I'm debating again because when I play a game like Borderlands, right, and you're playing with 2 other people, and you have these moments where like, okay, hey, you'll go do this quest, you go do this quest, you go do this quest. That's not fun. That's just tedious. That's like, hey, we got this big quest board to clear. Let's just clear it as quick as possible because we're all completionists for some reason. And let's just not play together and go do your thing. That to me feels like the antithesis of co-op in a way.
Why even play co-op at that point?
Exactly. So annoyingly, I mean, it was a little annoying when I had like the one person that wanted to split up and do everything as efficient as possible. But then when like the game narrowed its scope back down where you couldn't do that, or like it was a main mission or something like that, it was just so much damn fun. Or like when we were up against what's the first hammer boss's name? Bastards. Yeah, when we're up against him, and even funnier, we're fighting the last boss. And one of my friends, right before the fight starts, is like, "Hey, by the way, there's an achievement for beating this without losing your shield. So let's do that." The fight starts, and instantly 2 of us are just killed. Stuff like that, and watching a friend like trying to grapple away, like for like fighting for their lives. I don't know. It puts it up as an S for me, just because it was just so much fun. I wanted more variety and stuff, obviously, in terms of like visuals, but like even like the last mission, House of Reckoning, that I think it's co-op really played well, where you kind of had your own moments, or for example, you could literally have the entire room lit up with sensors, because everyone drops 2 and they're huge, and it immediately makes a big difference. Or things like someone's clearly getting destroyed, I pop my sensor in and I hear, oh hey, thanks, nice, whoever popped that sensor, clutch moment, like it really helped me out, things like that.
Absolutely.
Did you guys ever do the triple wall?
No, we didn't. The little, I haven't played a ton of it. The little bit that I have played, we didn't get nearly far enough in for that to like matter.
Yeah. We
Or
did
for
the
it to be
triple
as
wall
good
a
as it
couple
could be.
times, and oh man, it was just hilarious because we would never ever line it up properly. So it'd be like half of it would be at a terrible angle, the other half would be like halfway inside someone else's wall. The other one is so far away that the person just walks up ahead of it anyways. Oh man, no, it was a lot of damn fun. That's an easy yes for me. Yeah. The more I think about it, just
I think one that I'd like to touch on next is music.
okay.
And I changed my answer on this, so don't look at the one I sent you, Soul.
I'm not looking at that anyway.
Okay, good. I have to give the music in this game a B, and it's a low B.
Oh.
And I think that that's going to be a little controversial for some people because the music in this game is very good. But so much of it relies so much on being fan servicey in a way that I don't feel like the art style is. I mean, don't get me wrong, the art style is certainly a fan servicey approach to art style. Otherwise, they would just continue with what they were doing with 4 and 5. This music is so similar to things that we've heard in the past, like all over the place. The Banished stuff is like very solid. I think it's interesting.
I love the Banished.
I don't think that it stands out enough from other Halo games. For me, this kind of gets lost in the shuffle a lot in the same way that Halo 4's music does. And Halo 4 is by far my least favorite Halo soundtrack.
Okay.
Yeah, 4 and 5 didn't stick at all for me. Like
I enjoyed 5's personally, but
yeah, 5 had a few good songs in it.
I'd probably rank 5 similarly to this, but like it is a B. I won't go as low as C because like there are some fucking solid bangers in this soundtrack. But that's where I'm gonna be. That's where I'm gonna be stuck on this one. Is a B for the music.
That's interesting because for me, that when it came to the campaign, Halo's music, Halo Infinite's music, that probably was one of the strongest points for me. We'll get into the other one, but the reason is because I think for some of the similar reasons that you don't maybe like it, I did like the fan service because as somebody that wanted to recapture some of that feel. And I think they did a good job balancing that, bringing in, some of the old stuff, but it freshened it up, gave it a little bit of a twist, and it just invoked some of the nostalgia and things that I wanted to hear. But they also brought in some new songs that were bangers in my opinion, like the Banish. You probably, I don't know what it's called, I haven't looked at the name of it, but you hear it a lot when people do videos and stuff, because it is just a really like
the one in John's just recent video, right?
Yeah, that one. That. I don't want to try to sing on the camera, but you know what I'm saying. Like it just like to me, sometimes it gives me chills or gets me hyped. Like some of that stuff, and I think it's been a long time since Halo brought out a new track that really did that. And so combining some of the Banished stuff with the some of those deep, really. Intense, like some of that in music with some of the classic fan service. I think it was a really good balance. So I'm definitely at an A, and I'm almost, honestly, if you would ask me at the beginning, like after last year, I was probably, it's a solid A, probably close to high A for me.
The music is, so what's interesting is, one thing I'll definitely say is I like a lot of Halo 4's tracks. In fact, it has possibly my favorite track in the game, which is 117. In fact, I listen to Halo 4's soundtrack a lot when I think back on it. Requiem, Return, or whatever the hell it's called. But the thing with Halo Infinite was I first listened to the audio, right? And nothing really stood out to me as in like, I gotta put this in my place and I gotta listen to it right away. My Hunter's Dance, maybe a little bit. Garbicon Escape is probably the only two that were like I need this. I need to listen to this while I'm driving or working out, that kind of stuff. But then when like you play the game, I feel like in Halo Infinite's the best Halo when it comes to music that synergizes with the gameplay, in my opinion. Maybe not for like singular, like really high octane moments, like Blow Me Away in Halo 2, stuff like that is obviously at a different level. But overall, in terms of, hey, I'm playing Halo Infinite, I'm listening to the music, and it's really synergizing with what I'm doing and like how I'm doing it. I thought this game was phenomenal at that. I do think overall, though, if I had to place it in a tier, because it doesn't have like those individual standout tracks, I'd give it an A as well, but also a high A. I mean, S is S, right? That's reserved for like the best of the best.
Yeah,
So,
S is tough. S is close to a perfect 10, so that gets tough to hit.
Exactly.
All right, so moving on. All right, now we're gonna get into. We got a couple that might be mixed here. Why don't we get into the story and characters? I think that is an interesting one.
Okay.
Because that was if you remember at launch of Halo Infinite, this was probably the one area
most controversial and mixed, right?
There was a lot of mixed opinions, and it depended on what you focused on, right? I think about the turn with Cortana and the fact that she was killed off screen. That was something a lot of people didn't like. I know I didn't like some. I mentioned the word whiplash. That's become one of my new favorite words when talking about some of the story elements of Halo. That they didn't really kind of burn. I didn't think like earn certain things or build up enough on certain turns. But there was also some good scenes in it. Like I thought Jennifer Taylor was,
standout performance. She was so good.
I think she did a really, really good job playing 3 different characters. You mentioned this before, so that kind of captivated me a little bit, and there was some cool cutscenes in there. I had this initially at a C because I didn't like the way I didn't think they stuck the landing in this.
What did you think of like the characters, like the weapon or the pilot?
But that's the thing. So I'm going to go with like a low. I'm going to be in the B. It's probably a low B. But the reason is why I land on there eventually is that the writers were given a really, really difficult job because they were handed over a Halo 5 story, which I would put it easily at a D, maybe off the page.
It was one of those so you can pop it in there.
Yeah, I mean, it was for me as a Halo fan, it was so far down there. When I was done with Halo 5, I basically said that I don't even care about the story anymore. I don't see how you can save this. Like this is like a mess with what they did with Cortana and everything else.
I will never understand this. Halo 5 was a B at least for me.
Oh man, that story I absolutely despised.
It did that one trope that I was hoping Halo would never ever do. Which was like AIs go bad. Like come on.
Yeah, it was tropey. I did not like the way they
the seeds for that shit were planted in Halo 2. Get over it.
I don't care.
I don't care.
Like honestly, I don't care.
Here's what I'll say. The writers, regardless of whether you agree with that opinion or not, the general consensus on 5 was pretty low in terms of the story. And I think the writers were kind of handed this really difficult situation. It's like, all right, get us out of this. And this was kind of a soft reboot in a lot of ways. And I think they accomplished that. Where they did well was was Taylor basically selling us here's new Cortana. We're basically
it's like a big like wipe of the dry race board. Like hey, we're gonna kind of redo some of what we did with the Halo 4 story, but we need a jumping off point to be able to make that feel meaningful. So we're going to get rid of Cortana dying. We're going to get rid of the Forerunners. We're going to go with the precursors. We're going to give you the weapon who's just going to call herself Cortana.
Right.
Hopefully not, but yeah, probably.
So okay, based on difficulty curve, I'm going to go ahead with the B just because of where they started.
Story and characters. B.
Where are you at?
Me?
Austin, well, you know what, Austin, you were already going, so why don't we just finish with
Sure. I gave this an A, which I struggled with. I think it's a low A for me. I think some of the problems that I have with this story are outweighed by the good things with this. I don't think that a Halo game has ended in a very long time for me. Maybe since Halo 3, where like the post-credit scene got me more excited for what's coming next. I still dislike 343's like characterization of Chief. I miss Joe Staten's like sarcastic, like serious, but like doesn't hold back from like making a joke. More casual dialogue. Like one of the things that I will always compare Chief's current characterization to is a line in Halo 2 where he pulls the flood off of Regret, or not Regret, but one of the prophets. I can't remember who.
Yeah, probably Mercy.
Yeah, it is Mercy. Thank you. And he's like, your pal, where's he going? Like that's such a casual thing to say to like a mortal enemy, and I love that. And like the way he jokes, like the funny thing is like that's not even necessarily lost in the comics. Even like Chief makes a joke about like I don't want to become an admiral because I don't think it has the same ring to it as Chief does. And like that's hilarious. Why is that shit not in the game? Chief has become so stoic.
I mean,
that
you have
like
to see
boring.
the context too, though, right? Where it's like Halo's 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's a war for survival, but also like the overall tone of the games is fun, blockbuster action movie, right?
I think that it is. Oops, sorry, bumped my mic. I think that it is detrimental that 343 has not found a way to strike both in a balance where it can be the same like lighthearted sort of. Like very specific contextual moments that like Halo 2 and 3 had, even Halo 1, and then like Halo 4, 5, and Infinite
Halo 5
being
too,
like
right?
super serious games that just don't really have a sense of humor at all.
Like Halo 5 had it, but not with Blue Team. Blue Team was
Yeah, it wasn't. It was Buck, and like
yeah,
I will give 343 that like the credit that they deserve. Like Nathan Fillion is a character that you write funny dialogue for. You guys did a good job with that. But like Chief is a funny dude too, or at least he can be. I don't. Anyway, not to specify like or to like only pile up on Chief here.
I mean, no, it works out. We have a question in the comments saying, "What do you guys think about the characterization of John compared to previous Halos?"
I think yeah, we've been discussing it, which is funny. Rewind like 5 minutes, and honestly, you'll get at least my opinion on it. I think that Chief is a stoic, serious, career military Spartan who has a lighthearted side, and we don't get to see that anymore, and that bums me out. I think that even with everything going on, he could have dipped into that a little bit, especially the way that he like taunts his enemies so often before we get to 343 era Halo, and it just doesn't happen anymore.
Right,
it's like he's forgotten. It's like he went into hyper sleep or whatever I can't remember what cryo sleep. He went into cryo sleep at the end of Halo 3, and when Cortana like nanoteched his new suit out, she took out his comedy module.
I do think that that you bring up a point. I didn't really even think about it too much, but that the classic Halos kind of painted Master Chief as almost a comic book character, right? He's almost like Arnold Schwarzenegger in some ways, you know, where it's like, yeah, you got the cheesy like cheesy one-liners when you're beating up on the bad guys. But I do think that is something just in general that 343 has tried to go in a more serious direction, and I think that could be
like the most serious moment in Halo 3 is when he finally finds Cortana and he's like, I thought I'd try shooting my way out. Mix it up a little bit.
Mix it up a little.
Like that is such a fucking good line, and we didn't get any of that in this game.
Honestly, though, I think it still works because even that line comes from a place where Chief is still in control in a way. You know what I mean? Like things are still going, and he still has his control. When Halo 4 starts, and immediately what happens? Things move out of his control. Cortana's dying, and he can do nothing to stop it, right? What happens? Cortana dies. He's obviously spiraling down. Halo 5 shows up. He's still pretty spiraling down. Cortana shows back up. Oh, hey, I gotta, what's happening here? Oh, she's killing a bunch of people. What the hell is going on? You know what I mean? Halo Infinite starts, and obviously you find out later, but what happens is he got destroyed, right? Like he got beaten so badly. Cortana's dead. Who knows where the people he loves are? His blue team is probably scattered. He doesn't flip a know. You know what I mean? So I feel like
he had the humor beat out of him.
Really, is what it sounds like. But admittedly, he still was a little humorous in Infinite. I want to say. I thought they still had a bit of a balance.
Do you think so? I don't feel like he really like. There are very few like gameplay dialogue moments that he has with the weapon where like he does express.
I mean, there's
a
one that
modicum of a personality
to my head right away, which is where he's like, "What are these guys? New, potentially dangerous."
For sure. I don't think that it's non-existent. I think that it's one of the weaker points of the 343 characterizations is that Chief doesn't get those moments of levity. I'm going to quickly hit.
But he gets a lot of levity. It's just not comedic. In fact, he shows more like vulnerability in the 343 games than he's ever shown in Bungie's games.
Well, no, I do mean levity as in like like a comedy. Not necessarily like vulnerability or sensitivity or anything like that.
Yeah.
Levity to me just implies like defining or like serious, like big moments for him in a way, right?
Humor or frivolity is what levity means.
Interesting. I did not know what the hell this word meant.
That's okay. No, that's okay. I was did I not know what it meant?
I'm thinking of like,
but a little bit of that.
I see what you mean.
A real couple of quick points because I feel like we spent a ton of time on this already. Chief's characterization is hit or miss for me. It's not bad, but it could be better. The pilot was frustrating it more than he wasn't for me. I enjoy him overall. I'm looking forward to seeing him again. I hope we see him again. I think Jen Taylor killed it with all of her performances. I think the weapon is going to be a great replacement for Cortana, if not an obvious Cortana ripoff. And I really enjoyed the Banished characters. I thought that they crushed it. I think that another low point of all of this for me is that it is a like almost verbatim retelling of Halo 4's sort of setup. Like it is rebuilding the setup that we had for Halo 4 so that they can tell a cohesive story with those elements again, just like skin swapped, basically. It's not the Forerunners, it's the Endless, and do all of that. I'm looking forward to what the future is, but I think that this game is hindered by the fact that it is a soft reset for a lot. Like Abe said, I think that it unfortunately just kind of takes a little bit of a hit because they have to reset the board.
They're dealing with Halo 5.
Story and characters is A for me.
A?
Yeah.
Okay, that just sounds kind of high after all that.
Yeah, you're like that.
No, I mean we just like if I could be a jackass about it, I was interrupted super hard about my excuses for Chief. We spent a whole lot of time talking about my distaste for Chief. I think honestly, like my distaste for Chief brings it down, but then like other things bring it up, and that's why it sits at an A. It's a low A, but it is an A.
I will keep it easy. It's an easy S for me. An easy S. I'll be honest. So what they did with Cortana worked so well with me. Like what they had to like handle and how they had to handle this. Cortana already had basically the perfect send off in Halo 4, in my opinion. This character is dead. She's going. She's gone. This is the goodbye moment. Is what I thought. So kind of doing that again to me would have felt like it cheapens even the previous games. So the way they did it in the sense where it's like, hey, it already happened. It was off screen. Chiefs the entire game has been dealing with that grief while also dealing with the potential replacement. But then it still comes to a head where she like kind of pseudo talks to him, but not really. I really like that. I thought that was about as like. I thought that was a way cooler thing for them to do with killing Cortana than the ending of Halo 4 was. Okay. Fair. I don't think it works as well without the Halo 4's ending, personally.
No, 100%, 100%.
I feel like the old man yelling at the clouds after that section, so let's move on.
But
what did you give it, Abe?
I gave it a low B. I almost was at C.
But more than that, what really elevated the game's story and characters to me was the Chief. To the point where I thought this was like the first game that really dived into his characters. Into his character well. You have a couple moments. You have like his when the password moment comes up and Sam comes in. I saw that and I'm like, oh, holy crap. All right. So like we're going into this. You know what I mean? Like they recognize the lore, they recognize the books, and they're like, hey, here it like this is it. This is happening.
I feel like I'm being incredibly cynical when I say it's all just fan service. It didn't like the fact that his password was Samuel had nothing to do with anything other than like it's a dude that he knew, and it'd be a cool thing for fans to recognize.
I disagree completely. I think it shows the character. I mean, I have to disagree, right? Because I'm looking at it for what it is, not for what it might be or the reasons behind it. All I see is that in Universe Chief, one of his passwords is Sam. So to me, that means he thinks this person in his life is important enough.
No, absolutely. You know what I mean? I'm being cynical. I'm saying like the only reason it was included
for sure,
was for fan service.
I mean, the only reason there were 2 scarabs in Halo 3 is because people liked it in Halo 2, right? Like sometimes fan service is just what happens for certain things, but not just that. Moments like we all fall down moment, I thought was really well done, especially with the music.
What's going to be our wrap up side? What do I do? How do I do that?
No, I know. We have so much still to do. We still have all of multiplayer to do.
Oh my God, you're right. Okay, you know what? I'll just stop and I'll say
going,
it worked.
keep going.
It worked
Keep
really
going.
well for me.
All right.
I want to see what's next so badly. So badly.
I do
like,
too.
I'm so frustrated. It's gonna take longer.
Yeah. All right.
But-
Oh
moving
man,
on.
so how good does it feel to know that the next Halo campaign is probably minimum 4 years away?
I still think it's 2024. I personally think we'll see something.
I
Halo in
think
2024.
you're on drugs, but I will also wish for that.
We'll save that discussion. All right, let's move on. Do we want to do game design or gameplay first?
I think
really quick.
Go ahead,
Sorry,
Saul.
just King Bill talks about how Master Chief doesn't talk supposed to represent the player. Yeah, it's not 2001 anymore. Master Chief is his own character, and he's been his own character for honestly, for me, 2001. But for other people, since Halo 4 or Halo 3 too. I mean, he's always had his own characters, and I disagree with that completely.
I think that I mean, obviously that was the original intention, but that changed over time. I don't think that you're wrong, Bill. I think that that is a bygone era of Halo that just doesn't exist anymore.
I think he's wrong when it comes to 343 Halo at this point. He's very much his own character.
Oh, I mean, 100% 343 Halo doesn't do it at all. But that, again, I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm saying that modern Halo doesn't do that.
Yeah.
Let's jump into game design first.
Okay.
Game design, I assume meaning like level design kind of
level
stuff?
design, things like that, yeah.
Progression, how you get, the...
like the unlocks and like the...
Okay, okay.
The Ubisoftness of it.
I'm dropping this down to a C.
Austin? That one on C on the board?
This is almost a D for me. I don't think that the campaign progression is bad. I don't think that the collectibles and the hidden, fun, cool stuff in the game is bad. I think that the strongest part of this game is its linear level design. The open world does nothing to the open world doesn't support itself well enough or validate its need for existing whatsoever. This game started its development as an open world game, shifted development when a new game director took over, and it was too far along for them to throw it away and do something else. The linear level design being the best thing about this campaign is an unfortunate thing because even the linear levels are okay at best. Halo 5's campaign missions are way better than any linear level that's in Infinite. Exploration-wise in the open world, I think it's fun to explore, but I think that's more of a gameplay thing than it is a level design thing. I think that my favorite thing to do in this game, and it is not as fun anymore, was to do the banished bases. Not the fobs, but the big bases like the Gabrakan and all of that. I thought that was a ton of fun. That felt very firefighty to me. And super big shout out to oh god, I can't remember his name now. I'm gonna look like such an asshole. Caleb, not Caleb. Fuck. It's fine. There's a level designer who I follow who worked on Halo Infinite's campaigns, sort of bases, and now works, I believe, at Riot. I could be wrong about that. Colby, thank you so much, John. Colby Payne, yep. I think that the bases are the strongest part of the game as far as campaign level design goes, and that's disappointing in a lot of ways. I think an open world Halo game could be really cool. This is not it. Nothing is more frustrating to me than trying to fly across the world after setting up a cool grapple shot explosion on a Warthog and hitting a fucking invisible wall because the game doesn't let you go in between its continents without using the dedicated paths.
Yeah, it's interesting, Austin. I guess we'll let Soul finish this because he might bring it up a little bit. But this is the lowest part, aside from the live service. This is the lowest aspect of Halo Infinite for me as well. I did like the wide. The one thing I do like about the open world is it does bring in some dynamism when it comes to the encounters. The fact you can approach them from different angles. So I did like that aspect, and that was something I was hoping to see with Halo Infinite, and we did get that, right? Like that just kind of happening across certain things.
That is like the only reason it's not a complete fucking wash for me.
Right. But that and that is like the one thing that brings it up, because I'm almost right there. Like we've talked about Elden Ring a little bit. I know it's not fair; it's a completely different game. But just the way they kind of organically took this sort of more corridor design game, and were able to bring that into an open world where it felt like just you looked around and you're like, oh, I want to go there, and you go there, and and it's just interesting. They missed that opportunity, and it was like baby's first Ubisoft game in a lot of ways with the checkpoints on there. Just icons.
If it wasn't for the grapple hook, the grapple shot, this game would feel fucking terrible to play.
Definitely, but I mean, you could say the same thing if Elden Ring didn't have the mount; it'd be terrible and way too big. That's like a core design component.
No, of course. And like, I'm saying like, obviously the gameplay supports the game design, like the level design.
Yeah.
They go hand in hand in a lot of ways. But like, I would say the exact same thing. So I wasn't trying to say anything otherwise. But like, the grapple shot feels like something that happened early on as a prototypey thing for an equipment item. And they were like, "Oh, we could build a game around this.
This is amazing." Yeah,
and that's how it feels. It went. It feels like the grapple shot came before the open world, not the open world. How do we make this fun?
This last playthrough, I was actually like grapple shot, like speed sliding, and you fly.
Oh yeah, that's all I do.
Right. So I am going to land at a C, but like I was very close to a D on this, and I kind of waver back and forth, and it's probably just what the last focus is. But icons to me is just it was overdone, and it was played out. I think by the time this game came out, and I think
I feel like a lot of what this game wanted to be, and like what we saw in the 2020 version when it was still Chris Lee directing the game. I feel like this game really wanted to come out in 2019, and like even that 2-year difference between like when it came out and when it wanted to come out is a big difference in like what games were doing at the time. I feel like a lot of Halo Infinite unfortunately just feels a little dated, and that's okay because like what we got is a very, very good Halo game out of it, but I think it does keep it from being a better Halo game in my memory.
Man, yeah, I guess if you called it right, I disagree a lot with pretty much all of that. Mostly because I remember I had a discussion with Abe, I think last episode, where I'm like, one of the main reasons I was against a delay from 2020 to 2021, 2022 was because I'm like, I don't think the campaign would have hit as well as it did this year compared to last year. Playing it again, and I don't agree with that at all anymore. I think it still hits really damn hard. But to summarize it really quickly, is the last open world game I've beaten was Final Fantasy 15. The last one before that was, I think, Assassin's Creed 2. I don't play open world games. I start them, I buy every single one, I play them for 3 hours, I open the map, I'm like, yeah, screw this. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not dealing, like, no way. This is a time sink. This is a waste of time. This is terrible. I 100%ed Halo Infinite immediately as soon as I could. And a large part of that was definitely the combat, which was really cool. I mean, we'll get to that soon. But I think another large part of it was, I guess you could call it baby's first Ubisoft, or you could call it just like Ubisoft Lite in a way. There weren't a million markers on the map. I made it a point not to go straight to the fobs, to instead kind of go around it. Hey, there's a fort here. Let me take it out. Hey, there's Marines calling for help here. Let me take them out. Or like, I feel like there's almost definitely something in this area. Let me check. And I find like a Forerunner weapon spot, or maybe a skull, or like on the top of every mountain, there's a flipping Arbiter doll, right? Just chilling there. It's nothing. It's just an Easter egg, but it's like, hey, you know what? This was worth climbing this mountain for 20 minutes. So like personally, I definitely agree with the limitations, like in terms of like flying across the islands. I do think that was probably like a last gen issue. This game did release on
no, it's 100% a hardware issue.
Yeah. Like at the same time, that's also why like I don't tie Ragnarok too much for its insanely limited levels, because it is a PS4 game. But holy crap. Ugh. Anyways, that's
another show.
That's a different topic. But the forts were definitely amazing. You're right though. When I think back to like the linear levels, right? there weren't too many that were standout.
No, but like that's the problem for me is that like I think the linear levels are like second only to the bases. The linear levels are good in this game. They're just not great Halo levels.
To me, the linear levels were kind of just like a palate cleanser. Like, hey, I explored this whole area, but I'm kind of tired of just grappling 24/7.
For sure.
Oh, let's do a couple linear levels, kind of get back into that. Then, oh, we're back in the world again. I want to explore more stuff. That's how it worked for me, and I really like it worked really well there. I had a couple complaints, like
I'd have to go through and rank them individually.
Basically, right? I have a couple complaints, like you get the flying vehicle, and like it's useless because it's wet tissue paper, even on heroic, right? Stuff like that. But just because we're already going super late, I'm gonna put it as an A personally. I really enjoyed it. I beat the game, which is rare for me, by the way. I don't beat games, so me beating a game is a pretty big deal. I just beat it. I did everything I could, just like how in Elden Ring I did everything I could, right? For me, Halo Infinite's world design, I really liked it. Could have used another biome though.
It definitely.
My obsessive compulsivity like kicks in instantaneously with games like this, and with it being a Halo game, even more so. This is the first Halo game that I've not completed the night it released, because I can't go on to the next like main story mission until everything is off the map.
Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I definitely do it too. I want to finish that island. I mean, dude, they give you the little icons.
Like my first playthrough, which I always do a heroic playthrough of a campaign.
Yeah,
My first playthrough.
Yep.
The only thing I missed was one audio log.
Oh man, I can't.
All
play
I
games
missed.
Like that.
Did you use
and that is the missed opportunity though, like the fact that the only things that are hidden, like if you go to a fob, the only thing that's going to be hidden is going to be those audio logs. I hope in the next iteration they can create some more surprises, because you're right, when I played it I was kind of speed running through it, so I was skipping fobs and stuff. You know, I was trying to speed run, and it was actually fun just to run and cross they got some
also
Marines here.
The worst friendly AI in a Halo game ever, period. This like incredibly disappointing. They don't drive
much.
They will not drive.
That's gonna be the gameplay.
Kidding me?
We're gonna go to the gameplay next. Let's do that.
Sure.
Let's go to gameplay. All right.
S
So why
tier.
don't you lead
S tier.
Yeah, honestly, it's an easy S tier for me too.
I don't think I have to say anything else. The Sandbox is maybe the best a Halo game has ever had. Other than like Halo 1. I enjoy the like moment to moment gameplay in Halo Infinite more than I enjoy it in Halo 3, which is my favorite Halo game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I fully agree. Sorry, Abe, go on.
No, so this might be the one that we all agree on.
Yeah,
I know I'm
too?
always lower than so. Yeah, I was between S and A, and they're the two things. So you mentioned one of them, your squad AI. I consider that part of the moment to moment gameplay.
Yep.
And then the other thing was the equipment management. I still do not like the fact I got to hit 2 button pushes, and it makes it impossible to combo. And I think that's something. I get so many ideas.
So, like, how do you solve
I'm a
that,
PC
right?
boy these days. I did not have to push more than one button.
Right? Oh my god. Goodness. Like, Abe, how do you solve that in a game that you can't slow down time? That was my issue with it.
Here's what I think they could do going forward is basically give you a quick swap. You just have 2 equipment items. You go in your menu before an encounter. You choose which 2 you want to have, and you just basically then you can combo them. You could and then you could throw in even more than 4 items. You could throw in a repulsor in the game, whatever new things.
You mean like
it's not the same thing. But like I understand, like Halo Infinite has a lot of inputs. I don't know what the D-pad is used for on controller.
So you're changing equipment
and grenades. That's the problem, is that it's also grenades and the flashlight for fucking who needs a flashlight in this game.
A fucking flashlight.
That's a
but like you could do what like I feel like you could do what like Destiny does, which is like I know on controller to activate a super you push both of the shoulder buttons at once. You could 100% use multiple button inputs.
Yeah, that's true. That's what Fable did
use different equipment items.
There you go. Solved it. So I'm going to still give it an S because the grapple shot, I did not believe that was going to work as well as it did.
Every game is better with the grapple shot. Cannot wait for Destiny 2.
Yo, Destiny's getting it.
And that's the one area that I don't think Halo gets enough credit for. The fact that everything has got some geometry in the game, that you can hit the grapple shot on any sort of like corner and it's going to pick up on there, and it's got its own momentum and everything based on the angles. The sandbox is absolutely. So I won't spend too much more time on it. I think that's it. That is the best part of this game.
It just flows so damn well. Like it's just I was able to switch equipments on the fly because I just kind of trained my right thumb to move over and mess with the D-pad. So like in the middle of like my grapple, I'll switch over to the thruster and thrust to the left, and like switch back to grapple like in the middle of a fight. And it's really nice when it works like that, because you'll survive. Like I was playing the co-op. One of my friends just didn't do that at all. So when I die, I switch to him, and he's just like running around like a chicken without a head in a way. He's like, no man, I'm surrounded by like 4 guys. I'm like, you're not dead. Switch to thrust. You turn invisible. You're good to go. Grapple out of there. You know, like you can make it out of these moments. He did not. I did.
We got Anorexic basically offered a solution that I think a lot of content creators are get on. Basically, get rid of sprint, free up a button. Problem solved. Yeah,
sprint means getting rid of slide, and slide is integral. To the game.
Sprint's never going away. And honestly, even though I know a lot of the hardcore Halo old schoolers who are the yellow at the cloud guys like me, say you don't need the slide. It doesn't, people just like the way it feels, man. At the end of the day, it feels good to play, and that's the end. That's why it's there. So you're not getting rid of it.
Okay. Weather update for you guys. It is currently 7 degrees outside with the wind chill.
That's not too bad. It went up.
No, it went down.
Yeah, that was a joke on Fahrenheit.
you got me. So cool. So now we're gonna hit multiplayer. The cool thing is,
we are.
I think that we can crush through some of these pretty quickly. If you are going to rebuke, feel free. But like, I am 100% about to crush some of these off the list real quick so that we can focus on the ones that we should focus on.
Really quick before we move over, chat, how do you guys feel about our campaign tier list, which I realized I put off of thing for something? Let me just put it back up in presentation mode. I can't find it. But how do you guys feel with our overall picks? Silence is yes. So okay,
they all agree. That's all.
They all agree.
When I do a work meeting and I get silence, it's like you guys all just think I'm brilliant and just move on. All right, keep going.
All right, let me switch over to the multiplayer tier list, which I've already made, by the way. Woohoo! Well, remade, I should say.
Can you show the picks? They didn't come up.
Oh, god damn it. Where the flip will they be? I can. Give me a second.
You asked the chat to see
it's right here.
Wanted
it is. Perfect. Yep. Luckily, it saves it because I totally closed. The thing.
Oh man.
Okay, what do you guys think? It's here now. Okay.
Right. There it is. Wow.
We're 10 seconds delayed. They've had 10 seconds to look at it. All right.
All right. All right.
Any like outlying picks that like you really don't agree with? Music and sound in the S tier. Interesting.
I put it really high too. Is it Dan? Yeah.
Admittedly, if it includes like directional sound, it was really damn well done, I thought.
I thought the music sound was a really strong point, but we already talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
We're definitely split on that one. All right. I think it's time. We can start talking about. We can leave this up here. While we talk about some of the aspects of the multiplayer. So maybe throw them a link to that, and we can start on.
Yeah.
So I do think I can like pretty definitively give at least my tiers for these, and I don't really need to go into too much of an explanation because we've talked about these pretty extensively already. Some of these. I'm gonna hit on mine that I feel like are pretty definitive. Gameplay is S tier. Sandbox is A tier. It is nearly perfect. It is not perfect, and it's only going to get worse. Visuals I put in the B tier. What happened
Sorry,
to
I
my...
realized I didn't put gameplay in there. Just assume it's there. All right. You said Sandbox was B tier?
We'll just throw Sandbox
no.
and gameplay together.
Sorry, A. My bad. Put it though.
Sandbox was A. If you don't have a gameplay one in here, then just put it up in S. I think that's fine.
Okay, let's put Sandbox and gameplay together. I guess. I mean, they're pretty close to each other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd give that an S.
Yeah.
Visuals are B for me. And like those are really the only ones that kind of hit the same campaign conversations. I think honestly we could probably blast through these pretty quick. But
I do think there's a difference when it comes to campaign visuals and multiplayer visuals.
I don't.
Like for me, multiplayer, what matters the most isn't how pretty it looks, it's how clean it looks.
Yeah.
How well is it read? How well is it read? And for me, honestly, Halo Infinite is one of the cleanest multiplayer games I've ever played. It's so easy to read what's happening, what's going on. The visuals for multiplayer is
I'm sorry, did you say Halo games?
Okay, not counting like the original Halo games, but no, in terms of like modern games, let me say in the last like 10 years. I open up COD and it's like a flippin' like amalgamation, bro. Like
it's not made for old eyes. Those are for kids.
Destiny's multiplayer it's clean and it's still I can see things, but it's not at this level. In fact, I don't think very few games I've played are at this level. And even older Halo games, yeah, I'd agree. I mean, I'd have to go back and see how they play, but no, I played them pretty decently.
Yeah, so I'm gonna slightly lean in your direction.
Fuck no! Like you're making good points, and like even texture work is better. I'll bump my visuals up to an A on here.
Yeah, I think. I think the visuals for the multiplayer to me are more impressive than the visuals for
which is where I had them and then moved them anyway.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Just relative to other shooters, and then you are right, Soul. As somebody that is just turned 47 yesterday.
Happy birthday! How did I not know that?
Oh, yesterday! Yo, happy birthday!
I do not celebrate my birthday. Like when you get to this, when you're younger, man, you look forward to it. You want everybody to know.
Yeah,
when you get to the closer you get to 50, man, you're just like, I hope nobody notices.
Your back will notice.
But yeah, man. Like when I play COD and stuff like that, sometimes it's just. I don't see things as well as I should in something like that, compared to all the kids. Halo works for me, and that's one of the reasons I was very happy with them going with the simpler art style. And also, yeah, I would agree with the textures. I mean, the textures even in Forge. So let's just, I know that's a separate thing. Forge is its own category, but just the visual level that you can achieve in Forge alone.
Yeah, no, I do think that is a separate thing, honestly.
Yeah,
that is.
I think if we're talking visuals, that includes sight lines, that includes like player outlines being accommodated for.
So all that stuff,
things like that.
All that stuff for me really. So it's A. I was a B when it came to the campaign. I'm an A in multiplayer.
Yep. I'll definitely.
All right.
Let's talk about really quick. He already went through Sandbox. So what do you think, Abe? Just the gameplay overall, the multiplayer.
Yeah, Sandbox. I'm kind of there too. A. Like I do feel. The one thing I teeter on is like in ranked. I think the BR, like maybe it might need a different starting weapon, or there's something, some balance aspect to it that I still want to. I don't know, like just something a more precision weapon. Like instead of them nerfing the BR, I feel like the BR should just be a pickup, and they should find like something that's in between the BR and like the sidekick as like a mid-range weapon. That's just a personal preference. I'm still gonna go with an A.
Would you maybe the assault rifle?
No, not in rank. No way. Oh, that'd be so painful. It's already so painful when I play big. Immediately change it.
Halo, especially ranked competitive, needs to have a mid-range, a good precision weapon to start with. But I will say this: the thing that as a reminder, and we take it for granted today, but going all the way back to when this game launched, the equipment works extremely well in the game. The repulsor, the grapple shot, they're not too much, they're not too little. They just seem like they work just right. Like the shield and drop shield, I think is kind of here or there, but they
Put
really
me down to an A for Sandbox as well, real quick, because I think the Sandbox is weaker than its gameplay, and it's mostly balancing. And like I said, I only think it's going to get worse because of the addition of weapons and equipment and things like that over time.
How did I miss gameplay? What the heck?
I really do like the
the
quadra effect of or the the equipment really does work extremely well in the game for me. So Sandbox is A for sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. Sorry, go on.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead, because I'm literally.
I was just gonna like bemoan that some of these things I don't think deserve nearly as much conversation as we had about some of the campaign stuff.
Yeah.
Like for me, content updates.
I got it.
I really don't have a ton to say there, other than like they should be better. They can be better, and I know they will be. But if we're ranking it, if we're rating what this last year has been, then it's a D for me.
Yeah.
Like, and the only reason it's as high as it is because of Forge.
Yeah, honestly, I don't disagree with that.
Yeah. I think it's hard to disagree with that.
I put the gameplay in, by the way. Sorry.
Okay, gameplay's S.
I'm going to go with A because you have to factor performance into gameplay, and performance.
Okay, I was waiting for that to come up.
Performance is inconsistent. So, in terms of the feel, the movement and the shooting are S tier for me as a Halo fan. But you have to get the performance. That's a huge piece in that.
Yeah.
And
it's
lucky that I only take it down to there because
we
that's the only reason I
stability.
stopped. Yeah, that's the only reason I stopped playing from time to time. I'm just like, okay, I've had it with this. Like some of the inconsistencies there. So they got to get that fixed.
Gameplay's an easy S for me too. The Sandbox is kind of like a mix between S and A for me because like it's a little boring. And admittingly, like a year later, but the fact that it's so similar to what it is to launch grates on it a bit. But like if I look back at it from like what it was like the first 3-4 months, I was loving this game. It's an easy S for me. Like almost all the weapons were really well balanced. I was picking up basically everything except like the Ravager, really, when I saw it. So it's like an A+ for me personally.
Okay. All right. So what do we want to do next? Let's knock out some of the other
progression, C tier.
Oh,
it is certainly not the worst progression. I'm sorry.
Oh wait, you had content updates on D. Sorry.
Yeah.
I honestly, I'll agree with that. It's too slow. The pace is too slow.
It's just not done. It's just not done. It's not the worst progression I've ever seen in a game. It is certainly not
progression. My bad. Yeah. You're putting it on C. Okay.
Yes.
Really quick, Abe. Just your content updates, so we keep going with it. Where do you want to put
D.
it?
D.
Yeah.
Content updates.
I mean, like I already put it up there. My bad. If like season 3 launches on March and like season 4 is scheduled again for 3-4 months, that goes way up for me. But as it is for the last year, that's an easy D, if not lower.
Yeah, it's like a D-.
Yeah.
Like literally the only saving grace is Forge.
Yeah.
Progression as in like the battle pass progression, right?
Progression,
Yeah.
I see progression as all of it. I see progression as battle pass, as events, as I mean, like really the only progression that exists in the game is the battle passes. And I'd give the battle passes a C. It could be lower. Honestly, if the battle passes expired, it would be significantly lower. But the fact that they don't gives it bonus points, and so I'm going to put it at a high C.
Yeah, honestly, I agree. Just really quick, I like season 2's battle pass, and I'm hoping season 3's is even better. But overall, like the content in there, that's a C for me too. Just because B doesn't mean bad, right? Like if we're using like the Metacritic,
I don't really even think C means bad. I think C means fine.
Oh, C means bad.
C means
just my grading exactly. C means meh. C means a 60 for me. Like not good.
It means you don't carry too far either way. So with that in mind, there's no way it could be a C because it's lower than meh for me. This aside from the some of the performance stuff that hits, this is probably my biggest complaint because not just I forget about other stuff. I don't play, I don't care about Fortnite and all the other games, battle passes and stuff. Just comparing it to Halo, it is missing things, like just the fact that, you know, you have just one ranked, you don't have very many ranked things to progress through. You don't have overall progression, like something you're trying to achieve outside of the battle passes. So once you're done with that, there's nothing else to shoot for. The stuff that we had to deal with all year when it comes to challenges, it does
God.
If we're comparing this to like what you could unlock and like progress through in previous Halo games, this is a triple F. Like, this sucks so much ass.
That's why I'm going. Like, I mean,
Halo 3 having a 1 to 50 like competitive rank in almost every playlist, and then like giving you the ability to unlock stuff just by playing the game, which was you know, obviously it was standard fare at the time, and like that's changed a lot. But
and
like
it's a buy to play game.
Yeah, and the thing is, when I look at next
so
year,
is Infinite, right? Like the campaign.
No, Infinite is Infinite is a free to play
not the multiplayer. 100%. But like, you're missing content if you don't own the campaign. You're missing multiplayer content if you don't own the campaign.
A little
We're
bit.
still Halo fans, right? Like, I get it's free to play. They got to find other ways to get people to be interested in it. But even when I look to next year, I expect them to get better with the performance stuff, with the desync. I expect them to be better with the content. I expect other modes to come and support the community better. I'm not sure exactly where. This is the one thing probably that I'm most negative on, I think, as far as the future, because to me, like the fact that they start off with challenges is like anti-Halo to begin with. It's like, we're going to tell you how to play Halo instead of Halo being this playground, and you go play on whatever you like, whether that's, you know, even in Halo 5, whether people wanted to screw around with rec packs in the casual stuff in Warzone, or go play super sweaty competitive, and you had rankings for all types of modes that you could try to, you know, improve yourself in. I still think this is a work in progress, and like it's barely a D for me.
Like if this was asked even like 4 months ago, it'd be like an easy D, if not pushing out for me, just because the challenge system was so grating, and being the only way to progress through the battle pass was like, come on, you know. Now that they're clearly working towards other ways to progress through the battle passes and through the events and whatnot, the challenges are honestly too easy now. They're kind of like brain dead.
Yeah, now that part of it's meh. Right, that's part of it's C.
And personally, I don't really care about a career rank. I never have. It's just a number that goes up the more you play. To me, just games played is literally the exact same thing. I open up how long has someone played? I don't care what level they are. Open up games played. There it is. 800 games, 600 games, 2,500 games. But
is that where I'm at right now?
What it should just say is 2,000 hours.
Straight
up.
You
should get an emblem that says 2,000 and then a Halo 5 logo.
Seriously. And I think I like 1,400, Abe. I haven't checked in a little while, though.
But, you know, did you guys know between Halo 5 and Halo Infinite, I'm now approaching 3,000 hours?
I'm gonna fucking scream.
But, yeah, this is clearly an area where they need a fair bit of work in. And it's something I hope we don't have this discussion next year. Like, when we do the same thing next year, it's going to be hopefully an A or higher.
Hopefully.
It won't be, but...
It won't be, but yeah.
So Abe, where were you on that D?
A D, yeah. I can't go any higher.
I guess the issue with me is the previous Halo games, their progression to me was basically, hey, grind your flipping heart off to get one lightning effect around your body after 20 hours of gameplay. Like, that wasn't good for me. That was a detriment, actually.
You know, I think a lot of it is just like with the ABK case. You got to define the market. Like, I think you got to define what progression means to you. For me, progression also can the ranking aspect. Like, and I think Austin called it out perfectly. The 1 to 50 and almost everything, right? I think that makes you feel like you're working towards something. Hey, I'm a platinum in this type of game type now, and I'm working towards, you know, becoming a diamond or whatever it is you're doing.
I mean, this game has that, but only for the ranked playlists, right? Is the issue, I guess.
But it's one all encompassing. If I want to do just Slayer and just get good at that, I don't got that option.
Yeah, fair enough.
So
they are adding more ranked playlists, but yeah, definitely I can see that
for now. That alone, and I think then just an overriding. I think people still like to see their overriding number. Like,
fair enough.
You know, next to their name.
I guess though I come at it from like a place like League of Legends where they added a leveling system, and I honestly couldn't care less. Like, I don't give a flip. All it tells me is, hey, you played the game for 10,000 hours. I haven't. It's what it literally tells me in that game when they added that system into play.
Well, how else am I going to let people know right away that I played over 2,000 hours in Halo 5?
Okay.
All right.
Last three: maps, player identity, and forge. Forge is pretty easy one, I feel. Like it's an S, right?
Yeah,
You
that's an
know,
S.
like-
The way I've been like slobbering over Forge the last few weeks, if I don't go S there, you know,
it's buggy. It still needs work to be done, right? But it's still, for what it is and the beta it released in, it's really goddamn good. Like, yeah, there's not much else I can say about that.
Yep. No, that's definitely S. And we lost Austin for a moment, but
He is muted. I think he'll come back in momentarily.
okay. All right. Cool. All right. So let's talk about
These next two. I think we'll disagree a fair bit because
Okay.
I feel pretty strongly on one of them.
right,
So
go ahead
I'm
with that.
curious. No, okay, fine. I'll start. Let's start with something simple like maps. What do you think?
You know, no, the maps. There's not enough of them, right?
Yes,
that's
100%.
the thing we talked about all year. So, like,
Though, admittingly, let's go back to launch when there were enough of them. 10 maps is a staple for Halo launches. Every Halo game launches with 10 to 11 maps. That's just what it is.
yeah, and I would say at launch, I probably would have given this an A at launch. I've lowered it since because some of them have been pulled out.
Yep.
If I go play any of the non-ranked stuff, I got to keep playing launch site, which is just, oh my God. So launch site is just awful. And
the game, this is a year in review. So obviously we're looking at it now, not at launch.
Yeah. So when you look at it that way, that's over time you exploit things, right? We realize Behemoth doesn't work for a lot of
Forge is S tier.
Okay.
So I
Oh
figured,
yeah, Austin. Anything else you want to add to the S tier of Forge?
Actually, I'm lying. It's A tier.
Really?
Yes.
All right. All right.
As it exists this year, right now, it is so fucking
enough.
buggy.
So
That's
buggy.
true. That's true.
It's
still so
like you fix some, even not even all of them, but some of those bugs, S tier. Like it is so good. It is so good, but I can't give it an S tier when it's like as rough as it is right now.
That's fair. That
Yep.
is fair. I'm only
Which
going to
is
keep
fine.
S tier.
Also, I should say for anyone listening to the podcast, it's okay that it's buggy. It's in beta right now.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not a problem at all. And it's clearly was an early release. Like clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah, the reason I went with S is because of just the capabilities. I get what you're saying. It is buggy. It is almost like somebody giving a Skyrim a 10 out of 10 back in the day. It's like, okay, that game's buggy, but what it's doing is so far away from everything else in terms of scope and what it's attempting to achieve that it's almost like if this was a non-buggy game, it'd be like a double S tier. I look at where it is today, and I kind of giving it the same sort of standard. Where
Next year we'll add an SS.
Yeah. But anyways, I think it's totally fair though, Austin, what you're saying. You can go either way depending on how you want to weight that stuff, for sure. All right,
Maps.
so coming back.
C.
Maps. Okay. Explain.
Most of Halo Infinite's maps are bad.
Really?
Really?
Yes.
Even at launch, you didn't like them?
Yes.
Damn.
I mean, at launch, I loved them because they were all new and I had honeymoon like doe eyes about it.
Yeah.
But no, like most of those maps are not good. I like Livefire.
I do like
Yeah, Livefire's fantastic.
Recharge?
I like Behemoth a little bit.
What?
I think it's fun. I think it's like my favorite gameplay in Halo is like 4v4 vehicular maps. Behemoth
Okay, fair enough. Yeah,
crushes that.
Yeah.
I think it's a little too big, but I think it's okay.
Recharge, Streets.
No, the rest of them are bad.
Wow.
Really?
All right. Okay.
I think Recharge is a mid-tier map dressed up to believe that it is an A or C tier map, or sorry, an A or S tier map.
I was gonna say, I'm like, damn. All right.
Yeah,
Fragmentation.
they're fine. Fragmentation.
That's big team battle.
Big team. Yeah. No, it's okay at best.
Damn.
None of the big team maps are good.
Abe, you come in after because I feel like you'll be in the middle. It's an easy A for me, if not S. I guess one thing for sure, Halo Infinite is the most Halo I've played ever online. Period. Out of all the previous Halo 6, 7 games, Halo Infinite's one I've played the most easily. When I did the Halo Xbox review and thing, Halo Infinite was number one by far for this year. Like, it wasn't even close. That would not have happened if I didn't like the maps a lot. Because I played Halo 5 a fair bit, and it was like something like Streets is like almost a perfect map for me in a way. I'll be honest, especially with like Stronghold. I don't know. That's where's my stuff? Maps, so A plus even. The only complaints I have with the maps is that they don't come out fast enough. I'll be honest.
Interesting.
No, I think it is so disappointing that that Halo Infinite has some of the best gameplay that Halo's ever seen, and it doesn't have good enough maps to support it.
Man, I look back at previous Halos, and each Halo has like maybe 2 maps I like as much as I like Infinite's maps. Like maybe 2.
Fighting
maybe
words.
2 maps.
Yeah,
like,
that you're opening up a can of worms, and we're gonna have to maybe revisit.
these maps suck, except for
we're gonna have to revisit the crazy things kids say in some future episode when we don't have any news or topics. But yeah, you're right though. So I'm like right between you guys. I am at a B. And first thing I think we have to call out is the expansion of the Sandbox. We got to say Sandbox does add more challenges to, I think, balancing the gameplay. Like that is, obviously the more variables you add in there, the more difficult it is to kind of keep everything perfectly in line. And I would say a year later, there's a few maps that still play extremely well. I do think Live Fire, from the way it plays well. Recharge still plays really well. Fragmentation for like them expanding the number of players on a map by 50% flows extremely well and is a lot of fun. Like sometimes I wish that was the only big team battle map I was playing. I would say there's a lot. There's some average things in there, and there's not enough of them. So
stuff like Bazaar clearly needs more work. Launch site is best not to talk about, right?
Yeah, and aesthetically, you still have to bring that into the equation. At the end of the day, what matters most is how the games flow and play. Like Bazaar is probably one of the best looking maps, but it does not flow very well.
Yeah, I mean it's a pretty good CTF map. It really plays differently in a lot of ways,
right? And
but
CTF.
Exactly.
On Slayer. It doesn't play that
but
well.
Like Aquarius is such a tight map. Like holy crap, I could play that map.
Yeah, I like Aquarius. I like Streets. Those I don't love them. I don't. They're not going to go on my top all time list. I think the only maps that probably go on my that's where you get it. That's where I can't even think about an A, because when I think about like some of my favorite maps of all time, the only one that really stands out is for that would probably be Fragmentation, and because I'm not a big team. Yeah, I'm not a big team. I haven't
played enough big team battle, man.
Yeah, I'm usually not, but I really like the way that one plays, and I think Recharge plays really well. I think it flows really good.
Yeah,
so,
it looks really good too.
Yeah, so I do think they need some more variety in the aesthetics as well.
Yeah, I will agree with John. They play a little safe. Some of the maps, like 3-lane maps, it goes through. Definitely more asynchronous maps. I mean, asymmetrical maps need to be done, obviously. But at the same time, like when it comes to just playing, right? They just play so damn well.
I need to say this, John, our like co-founder, just said, like, Mr. Forge Council, that BTB is poopy, and like I cannot stand for this. I am.
He's an arena guy through and through.
I'm normally an arena guy. I think big team battle plays really well in Infinite, though.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. If you get a big party together, it is so much damn fun.
So much.
If you can stack up like when we got a bunch of XboxEra, or we had community nights, and you got almost 12 people on a party.
We were getting our butts kicked, but we were having a good time.
It was so much damn fun. It really flows so well, and it's not like I didn't think Halo 5's BTB was very good. This one was
also, man, it's kind of a weird question because, like, for example, I played Big Team Battle last night, and I got flipping what's the map called? Breakout? The orange map, the banished map, like a couple times.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, oh man, I don't like playing Big Team Battle
Breaker,
on this, right?
the
Breaker. But then when I was playing Last Spartan Standing, I loved that map. Like,
I think that map is definitely one that was built for a Last Spartan Standing mode. that was big enough to support BTB. I don't feel like
It's
that
way too
map was
linear. It's
built
just one big
for
line.
BTB. Yeah,
Too many
right?
choke points in that map, right?
I
Like,
have a
just-
stupid challenge to splatter someone, and that's the worst possible pixie metal map to get that challenge. Man.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean,
Where'd
it's
you place it,
inconsistent.
Abe?
I agree with like. There's not the one thing I'll say, and this is why I was kind of at a B. There's not that many awful maps. Launch site I hate. I absolutely cannot stand to play launch site, and I am bored of looking at Catalyst for whatever reason. I don't know.
it's because like every interesting level in the campaign was Forerunner, so looking at Forerunner maps is getting old.
Yeah, it just gets boring to kind of.
When I think
play
of
that over and
Catalyst, though, I
over.
think of the way it plays, and it plays like differently enough from the other maps that like
It
I
does,
really
for sure.
enjoy.
Catalyst is good, also. I should say it is a
Yeah,
year one map. It is a good map.
But yeah, there's not a lot of, and even in the going back to BTB, there's not the Breaker. I don't think plays great, but like the high power one plays well. It doesn't look super interesting, but
High power plays really well. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Y'all are
like it's,
fucking bananas about this. Halo Infinite's BTB map selection is the worst in the fucking franchise.
I open up MCC, I open up Halo CE. You know what I get? I get stupid Timber Wolf, whatever the hell that god awful, terrible piece of crap map is called. Oh my god, that map.
hey, so drop my maps into B before I go.
Oh, there it is.
I'm watching. You keep kind of like doing that.
I wasn't sure. You weren't sure.
Go to B. Put it in.
I got
B.
it. I got it. It's
All
B.
right.
No, but
All right.
It feels lame that we saved this one for last. But
I guess
player
I
identity
feel
is
kinda
a
strongly
B
about
for me.
this. That's why I say a B.
Yeah,
Oh, it's higher than I. Wait, B or D?
B.
Oh, damn, that's higher than I expected. There's more Bs.
Because like player identity does not pertain to the progression of it.
It's just
That's
how
separate.
your Spartan looks.
Like the options that are available to you, whether you
Yeah.
pay for them or not,
Mhm.
are good options.
I'm probably
And
still
like
more,
there is more customization right now in this game than there has been in most Halo games.
Yeah.
Like by a factor of several. Halo 5 had a ton of armor sets, but they were like would you control like your helmet and then the rest of your body?
Yeah.
Lame.
Yeah.
interesting. Where are you at with this, Soul?
Pretty high.
What? Really?
I've talked about my takes on this many times before. But hey, John just gave his tiers. If I had another like 10 minutes, I'd quickly recreate this, make it. I don't. Neither do you guys watching.
Okay, campaign we didn't give a dedicated thing to though, John.
Yeah, that was like its own. Like
We
its own
did
thing.
like we broke campaign down over a tier as well.
So, all right, let's do that real quick. So the player identity, I'm going to go just C on it, whatever. We can kind of go. That's not an area I'm super. I've never been into the armor mixing and matching.
That's fair.
As much as
I
as a lot
will
of people.
go and I place it climbing, and S.
What?
Easily
No
in S. Dude, have you not
way.
heard me talk about this, dude? Halo Infinite is the only Halo game where I actually like how I look throughout, and I change my look every time.
That
like-
is crazy.
You know what I do in previous Halo games, or what I did? I open up
Just
the
took this
game.
off the rail.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I wanted to save it for last. I open up the game. I go to the two-tone color selection. I select black and a dark shade of red. That's it. And then if I unlock a cool-looking helmet, I put that on. That's it. That's literally all I do. Admittingly, I'll admit, no assassinations. Could have maybe put it down from the S. But just the sheer amount of variety, how good my Spartan looks, man. My Spartan looks so good.
Wow, I don't know. I like the mixing and matching of things. Like even as somebody that hasn't, again, I have not been into this stuff until like I started trying it out with Infinite more. Like I want to mix and match these things, and you still can't do that. So I can't go any higher than a C because of that. I know that they're going to they are in the process. They've let you mix in visors now and all that stuff. But eventually it could be higher. But I just think
for
that
sure.
when they restrict you from the combinations, Yeah, that just
I don't feel as strongly about that. I'll be honest. Each of my core has its own identity, looks to it. Admittingly, some of them could have used a lot more. Like I wasn't using the reach core forever because like it had almost nothing going for it. So I'm like, what the heck? Then I found one like this, the one I have on screen, the flipping that the Gundam armor, just god, the Gundam coding, sorry, just so good. It fits so well with what I want from a game like this.
All right. Well, we're gonna move past that. All right. Let's. Austin, you got anything else to say about it?
Nope.
All right. So let's do overalls. We don't have them there to move around our pieces. So I'll read off John. So he has campaign at a C.
So he has it. His C there is supposed to be story characters.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Story characters, visuals B, gameplay A. With some caveats, progression F. There, we're close there, John. Maps D. Player identity B. Progression C. Okay. I think.
And then he gave Forge an S because he's a fucking sellout.
Yeah, I mean. Forge is like I said before, Forge is an S. All right, let's give the overall. So let's just do really quickly overall campaign, and then we'll do multiplayer overall.
Okay.
Okay, like on a scale from like S to F, where are we putting it personally?
Yep.
Yeah. With a summary, and then we'll do some community questions and try to hurry up.
Oh yeah, flip.
I'll hit both of mine real fast, and I'll give a quick little breakdown. Campaign, I'll give an A overall, which I know is funny because I feel like most of my stuff is. Oh no, that's pretty fair. I think it's a great feeling Halo game that is held back largely because it decided to be an open world game. I think everything else would like the things that I dislike the most about the campaign are immediately improved by it being a linear game, and for a ton of different reasons, the visuals would be improved because you don't have to stretch visuals to work properly on a massive open world. Blah, blah, blah. There's a lot that goes into that. It's an A. It could be higher than that, but it's a low A. It's an A minus. Multiplayer-wise, it's a very, very solid A. A plus. This is one of my favorite Halo multiplayer experiences overall. It's too sweaty for my tastes, but I think that the Sandbox needs a little bit of attention to fix some of that.
Yeah.
But also I think that that's probably a perpetual Halo problem forever going forward because the only people that still play Halo are people that care about it hyper competitively.
Good summaries. All right, so let's go with you next.
Yep, honestly, it's very similar. The issue is like an S, it's an S, right? S is almost like a 10, like this list, basically top tier, best of the best. And I really, really liked Halo Infinite's campaign. I don't think if any Halo game is an S to me. Like honestly, maybe back when I first played it, Halo 3 is an S. When you replay
Halo
it, like,
is an S or S, but
Halo CE is like an S.
By the way, cancel Rand. Halo CE is an S.
Halo C's campaign is good, decent. It doesn't hold up as well as single player. It's still pretty fun co-op though. But anyways, what the heck? Why are you talking CE?
Okay, keep
going. Derail me.
Sorry, I did derail you. Sorry about that.
Campaign's an A, and maybe like an A. Yeah, not an A minus, not an A plus, just an A. I really enjoyed it. Not enough biomes. Has a couple of things I really want them to improve on. I did like the open world, and I hope they do still do it for the next game, and they kind of just expand on it. Not make it bigger per se, but make it just more. What's the word? Breathable. Like I want more things to just find and do on my own. You know, kind of like how Elden Ring was in that way, right? Just cool things everywhere. Multiplayer is an A plus. Honestly, I can't give it an S because it does have too many issues right now. The content pacing is not quick enough. Like if you asked me this like January, I'd give it an easy S. I had no network issues at all. I was still in love with all the maps, all the playing. I was playing it for like 3 hours a day. A year later, it's an A plus ish. An A plus only because it plays so damn well.
Good stuff. You know, and for me, I am so waffled on this because, as you saw, when we were going through this, I had some pretty high and disparate the ways I ranked it, and the campaign to me is somewhere between a B plus and an A minus depending on what I focus on.
Hmm.
I've always said gameplay and fun is the most important thing in games.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, right.
for
It should be.
me personally, and I'm halfway through my 4th playthrough on Legendary. So, like it does play extremely well. It is very replayable from that standpoint. But the game design stuff, the story stuff, which was just fine for me, like that does like the game design most specifically does impact my replayability. Sometimes I wish I could just skip these. Like I just don't even want to see the map markers light up on there.
ODST's open world was better.
Yeah,
Hard disagree. ODST is the most overrated Halo game of all time.
really. Well,
It's okay. You can be wrong about that, man.
Easy. It doesn't
Yeah.
hold up. It doesn't hold up. It finishes in 3.5 hours. The campaigns, the levels are super disjointed.
Perfect.
Some of them are really boring. The open world is fun when you're exploring, finding the terminals. When you're not, it's just a hassle.
If only you could skip the open world and not play it on replays.
You can?
Yes.
Wait, you can not play the open world? Oh, you mean like just select the levels themselves, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't like the levels. I think for the most part, they don't hold up that well. Other than maybe
well,
like a couple.
the last part where you're in the. Well, anyways, we're getting off in the wrong tangent
yeah,
here. Oh my god! As somebody, I'm B plus.
Listen to your heart,
B
Abe.
plus. I think I'm B plus because the other thing, and we said as a Halo game. I talk about CE. I won't go into all the stuff. CE, like the change of pace, the change of tone, like that is the one thing as a Halo game it was also missing, and that goes into the game design. The fact that you don't go from these quiet moments. You're just taking everything to like just these bombastic. We talked about that. Remember last year, we were hoping with the simplified visuals that on the Series X, they could maybe throw a few more enemies in there and get that feeling when you were dropped into the silent cartographer back in the day, right? But do that with today's expectations. So they weren't able to achieve that because of the Xbox One. So I'm going to say it's a B plus for me. It's a high B.
I'm going to change my answer to like a mid-tier B.
Okay. Did I convince you?
No, I was thinking about like how I've been feeling about it overall, and like giving it even an A minus is way too fucking high.
Yeah, I'd say that it's got some. It's disparate, right? There's some really amazing parts to it, and then there's just some.
It's weird. Like I could hold it at like this really high standard, but then I play other games and they just don't give me the same level of fun as Infinite did. Period. So it's like I can't rate it lower because I'm like I gave this other game like a really high rating, even though like I hated 10 hours of my playthrough. I'm sure you all know which game I'm talking about, but holy flipping crap, let me do my own thing, you stupid head. But like when I'm just enjoying a game this much, it kind of just elevates a lot of the other flaws, like the lack of biodiversity. And the lack of big set pieces was definitely a big one. I fully agree. And I think one of the issues was they started off with a pretty big set piece, which was the Grabacon escape. And it sets like this expectation where you're like, oh, wow, this was a lot of fun. This is cool. It was almost like a Warthog escape, but a little bit more dynamic because you can choose where to grapple, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. That was actually very strong. It starts off really well. You start off in the corridors. I mean, it is almost a throwback to CE. You start off in the corridors. You get this bombastic, the escape scene, and then you open up and you're in this open world, and it's like, whoa, like for a minute, right? Yeah. That was to me, that's the strongest part of the whole campaign. They don't continue that, so it's a very, very good game. B plus is still. Very
if they had like a really big set piece moment at one point, I could definitely. Yeah, it would have helped a lot.
Scarabs, something.
Yeah, something like that.
All right.
Well, no, do their own take. That's not the other thing. Sorry.
Now, multiplayer. Where are you guys at?
I already gave mine.
Yeah, so did I.
It's an A.
A plus.
Okay. I'm A minus. It's desync, man. Desync is
desync. Yeah. And you have to rate it based on your own experiences, right? You can't be like, what if I didn't have it? Just like how I don't have it really, so I'm not gonna.
Well, and that's the thing is, I really don't have issues. Yeah. I play the game at like 300 fucking frames a second, and rarely run into network problems.
Yeah. When this game is working for me, it is my favorite multiplayer game, probably ever. and that over, and I can even hear somebody just getting this clip and going, what what are these shows like? You haven't even got any content. Like the game when it's playing well, I forget about all that. I could play the same few maps over and over that I like, and I'll be fine. So I am A-, teetering on B+ because of performance, really. And now that we said what is the game a year later? Now that Forge is out. That has added the diversity that the big thing that was missing.
100%.
I can jump in there. Yeah. Like I probably would have said a month ago, probably B. It still played really well, but the game was like it just sings a chorus. It doesn't have it doesn't have the, it just was all one note, right? It felt like everything was just too sweaty. Now you can jump in there with friends and do some crazy shit with Forge, even though it's not perfect. And that just has changed the game so much. So, yeah, I'm going to say A. I'm going to say A, even despite the full performance stuff. Despite desync. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So.
Cool beans, guys. We rated Halo Infinite a year after its release.
Yes.
And we went a little long, but I figured we would when I saw the options. I think Soul that you did a good job of breaking the game down to its component parts.
Oh, I didn't do any of that. I just took it off of Abe's stuff.
Sure.
Sorry about that, guys. We all said we had so.
we had said a couple of days ago that we were like, it'll be an hour, it'll be fine. 2 hours is fine though. Guys, thank you so much for watching the 65th episode
community questions
in Halo.
There are 2 questions technically. They're very short. And one of them is a little depressing, but I have hope. The first question:
Destiny is a better game than Halo Infinite. You're right.
First question is by Mort. I disagree there too, but I'm sure we all is. Hello, Spartans from Mort. I have a feeling that this is a year when we get Halo Infinite as it was supposed to be, starting with Season 3. Have you heard any new rumors about PvE content on the horizon?
Yes.
Hugs, Mort. And Mort.
We have.
It's not coming.
What?
It depends on what you consider to be PvE content, but if you're thinking campaign DLC, any campaign DLC plans they had were canceled back in July.
Admittingly, that is not hard confirmed. It is from a source that's pretty goddamn good. Something on Twitter, they know what they're saying for the most part.
Yeah. So I think we know they changed. So since Craig,
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, since Craig Face in 2020, they have changed over the entire leadership team, who are going to come in with their own ideas and strategy and plan and roadmap and whatever. So I think the thing I would say about rumors, though, any rumors are going to be somewhat, I feel like, potentially change, even if it comes from a credible source. Mm-hmm. We did hear, though, that, they were asked about AI and Forge, and they're working on that.
Yep.
I feel like they are going to get to a point where they can put out PvE content. Now, what that content entails, is that going to be firefight? Is it going to be campaign stuff? I don't know. I think at some point we will get the firefight in this game. I don't know if it's going to be 2023 though. So, but other than that, there's been some interesting rumors. I think it is going to get on track in 2023 in terms of the live service, in terms of the consistency, and some of the modes people still identify as missing are going to be there, as potentially with some interesting tweaks.
I do think that no team at all working on campaign is unrealistic. I don't buy that. I'm sure there's groups of people at 343 that are still either road mapping through it or working on various things, blah, blah, blah. I think the company's big enough that they can do that. I do think the bulk of the team is probably on the multiplayer, getting that up to speed, getting people, set in positions where they need to be set in. That's why I still think we won't see any of the Halo campaign stuff next E3, but I think 2024, we'll see it. We'll see something. That's what I think. We'll see how the leaks go, but yeah.
You might see something. You're not going to play something.
Well, I mean, if Microsoft sticks with their 12-month stuff, I'm putting that into the equation. I think that when they show Halo Infinite in 2024, whatever they show is playable in the next 12 months of what they're showing.
My gut, we'll have to talk about this because we'll come back, I think, in January. We're going to talk about the future of Halo. So we'll say, let us digest that question and more, and we will come back and actually dedicate a big portion of our next show to that. That's a good topic, actually.
Yeah, that
Future
is.
of Halo.
Next question by Goated Collingwood. Hello, Halo followers. We're actually XboxEra. With the hindsight of over half a year, your thoughts on the Halo TV series and what are your thoughts on the Halo TV series and where the showrunners might go this next season, I'm assuming, yeah.
I legitimately have no fucking idea where it's gonna go. I'm excited about that. I mean, like, I'm gonna watch it for the same reason I watched the last one, which is like it's like a fun thing to sit down and spend an hour doing once a week.
Yeah. I got time.
I will go into it again expecting nothing more than a very mid-tier thing. I hope that they listen to some of the feedback that they got and adapt and make a better show out of that.
Yeah. I mean, we know they won't be dealing with as many COVID complications, so that should help a fair bit. Because I know you laugh, but dude, TV was hit so damn
No, of course it
hard
was. But the writers didn't lose talent because of COVID.
I mean, I watched another show, and literally the creator, the showrunner, went out and he's like, we had to make a last-minute change the day of shooting. And a major writing change, like one of the things people complain about a lot was made the day of shooting because of COVID complications. It very much affected across the board, man. Like it's a thing.
No, absolutely, 100%. And like television, and even movies, like the scripts change day of filming all the time.
Yeah.
But like the Halo TV show is just like overall weak from a storytelling standpoint, and it's not. You couldn't convince me that that's all because of COVID.
Oh, no one said that.
It's just poor writing.
Yeah. No one said it's all because of COVID.
No, of course.
And if anybody watched our weekly review of that, the only reason I'm here is because it's the chance for me to just have something to bitch about. As I'm getting closer to 50, you need to find something in
just
your
enjoy
life
the good action.
My Lions are playing good, so I can't bitch about them.
Yeah, I heard about that.
I hope that they get a bigger budget and have more episode 5 style episodes.
I fully agree.
I said that. I said episode 5 was actually a very fun episode. It was one of the more enjoyable episodes. Everything else, though, the other 9 episodes, I could care.
Could you imagine, like, season 2 of the Halo TV series kicks off and, like, this show goes on for, like, 10 years and everyone's like, do you remember the weird fever dream that the first season was? Because, like, the rest of the show is so good. I hope that that's what happens.
I don't think that's even physically possible of happening, just the way the fans have already reacted to this season. Unless they all just magically disappear forever. it's going to be...
I will say I'm a little bit jealous. I know I know you would push back, and I know Jesse would definitely push back, and the rest of our panel from before would push back on this. But I am a little bit jealous of like Last of Us fans when I see like the HBO thing. I wanted them to. I wanted them to start with. I want to see the cinematic interpretation of the story, and then you can branch it off because it's a huge universe. You can branch it off, or then you could change things. I wanted them to really capture the feel of Halo. Like I still don't think the show really it's not just that it's doing its own thing. It sometimes it feels like it's not even in the Halo universe.
I mean, it was very much like a Kilo 5 kind of like feeling throughout the show in a way, where it was kind of more just like, hey, like who's a good guy? People are all manipulating people, things like that. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like the Halo games like blockbuster feeling that we're used to playing the games, especially 1 to 3.
But it wasn't. Yeah, but it wasn't even like even just the characterization, like how
I'd rather watch Assassin's Creed. The Assassin's Creed movie every day or like once a week, every week for, I don't know, 6 weeks or whatever, then like watch the first season of the Halo TV series again.
I liked Assassin's Creed, so that's not a... Well, okay, to be fair, I like the Spain moments. They were all very
there goes all their credibility.
They're very well done.
Like,
the Spain moments
Soul just likes to throw out our credibility at the very end.
The overall story was whatever. Well, I mean, no, I didn't like Avatar 2, and people love that. So, but anyways,
I mean, no, like this whole episode of this podcast, Soul's just over here been simping over Halo Infinite.
No, I mean, like these are not new opinions, right? These are opinions I've kept.
I'm totally
like even
kidding.
the show, right? I rated it a B at the end of the day, the season, because I felt like they did certain things really strongly, they did certain things really weakly. The action, I would still say, is one of the best action I've seen in television. Period. Because television action is like just weak overall. In like most television shows I watch, even the big budget ones, even Game of Thrones had like some terrible action sound. Anyways, season where it's gonna go, I mean, they're gonna go to Halo. We know that they're literally filming in Budapest. So I feel like this season they'll probably physically find and land on Halo.
And my hope, to go back to good old Collingwood's question, my hope is they soft reboot it in a way, kind of just like Infinite kind of did that to 5.
You guys remember how it ended? Cortana is like possessing Chief right now. Oh my!
Yeah,
So I'm sure the first episode is going to be
man.
some kind of resurrection of John. Probably it'll be like a time skip, like 2 years or something.
Chief will wake up and be like, "Well, that was a weird dream I had," and then they would just start with Reach.
Reach needs to be built up. Actually, that's a good question. Does Reach fall
I even had
season 2?
sex in my dream. That was weird.
Can I tell you, Soul? I don't think they're gonna do the fall of Reach the way that we want them to.
I mean, I didn't like how Reach did it. So as long as they don't do that, Reach the game, Halo Reach. But I don't know, man. There's so many like little parts where I'm like, yes, take that and then pull on that string more. Like when they showed the planet being glassed, or things like that. I'm like, please, like, but they didn't, and I don't know why. It could be writing, could be budget, could be whatever. Either way, I'm still looking forward to it. And yeah, Mort, we will almost definitely have You Have Me the Halo episode cast like we did last year.
Guys, I don't know if y'all. Yeah, I was gonna say we got a super chat from Mariano. They asked, sorry if you guys talked about this already, but do you guys think 343 will get more people or studios to help with Infinite in the coming years? The scope for Halo is too big for just the amount they have now. I'm going to interject real quick with my opinion. I think absolutely Infinite had a bunch of sub-studios helping on it. I think that 343 will 100% bring in more people, probably more studios to help with the future of Halo, whether that is only Infinite for now or if it's the next big Halo project. I think that Microsoft is well aware of the fact that Infinite could have gone better than it did, and part of that is the amount of contractors that worked on the game, the amount of impermanent employees that worked on the game, and just like a small number of people at a major studio. Because like if you want to build a Halo game on the scale of like a Destiny where they have 1,000 employees now, you can't do that with 300 full-time employees and 200 contractors.
I mean, we know for a fact, not for a fact, but we know they're getting Tatanka worked on by
Certain Affinity.
Yeah, exactly. So already the answer to that question is yes, right? It's coming. More people are coming to work on Halo Infinite content.
First of all, I want to say thanks for the super chat, Mario.
Yes.
By the way, if anybody ever wants to see what it's like to just get like cross-sexed by a bunch of Onyx players, join Mariano and and Ains for some competitive multiplayer. Man, I was playing with those guys the other day, and they bring in the sweaties of the sweaties. Man, you're getting cross-map by guys that don't miss. So, but yeah, thank you for the super chat. And I think a lot of what you guys just said is I think it's a good guess. We've already said in past shows before, not today, but we have said that we didn't think that 343 had the coverage they needed to do everything that we're trying to do. You look at AAA campaigns from studios, they have a few hundred people working on games for 5 years. And then you go to like live service. You look at what Call of Duty does for their live service games, what Epic does for their live service games. Like 343 comparatively, when you look at the scope of what they're trying to do for campaign, multiplayer, and Forge, that is a massive scope. And when people go, what's going on there? What's going on there is they need more full-time help or more consistent help, long-term help. I think the start of that is Certain Affinity. Hopefully once Microsoft gets done with this ABK stuff, they can add them and continue to add people to that studio.
Man, they need to purchase the support studios, man. Honestly, I'm like enough new studios, new IP. They already have enough IP. They already have enough studios. Get some support studios to really help their current studios go.
No, it really is. Like, so the sentiment is, I think, something we all agree on. They need, if they want this to have any shot to, I'm not saying be in the top 5, but just continue to be a super relevant live service game. If they're not going to go back to what they used to with just releasing multiplayer with a campaign and then just
if they want this to last more than 2 years, then they need to. Period.
They absolutely need to. Yeah.
Right now, I'm sure Halo Infinite will survive and do pretty well even next year if they get seasonality in order. But if they want to last longer, they really gotta ramp things up, get PvE modes in, big game battle, all the works.
Yep. All right. It's good stuff. Thank you, Mariano. Thank you, everybody in the chat who came by and joined us
we had a
and
chat,
gave us some feedback. Hopefully, Soul didn't wreck her. No, I'm just kidding. I think it was good. It was good discussion all around.
Yeah, dude, you're making a tier list. It's gonna, unless everyone is on like the exact same page, which is boring. There's gonna be discussions. This kind of goes with we could have maybe separated the campaign tier list and the multiplayer tier list episodes wise, but nah, it's okay. It's fine. It's one game.
We like 3-hour episodes, so. All right. With that, Austin, do you think you should sign us out so everybody can go to use the rest?
Yeah, I think so. Guys, thank you so much for watching. This was the 65th episode of You Had Me at Halo. Jikers. Thank you so much for hanging out, for participating, for watching. If you are listening in the future, what's that like? Are there robots yet? Anyway, tell us later. Guys, you already know that you can find us on some of the coolest websites on the internet, including XboxEra.com, YouTube.com, Twitter.com. That last one's a little bit sketchy right now, but hey, it is what it is. Abe, if people wanted to check you out, find you online, where would they do that? What are you doing these days? How many podcasts are you on?
I actually, well, if you want to find me, just go to Twitter. You can find me at my handle, which you see on screen there, Mutha_1, ONE. Don't ask me why that Twitter handle exists the way it does. But you will see me pop up on podcasts oftentimes when we don't have a giant project, which we're trying to get this project.
Go ahead. Sorry.
But yeah, look for me there in 2023, and then you'll find where those breadcrumbs have me going next.
And then Soul, beautiful, beautiful boy. Where can people find you online, my man?
So this is still technically in the works or whatnot, but maybe depending on how busy my schedule is and how early I can get it. But I was thinking of ending the year off with in between our next episode, which will be the first week of January. Kind of like a special episode in a way, which is the mythical Halo Infinite multiplayer review, which very much exists, and I will prove it. I will prove it by going over that review.
That show's never happening, guys.
By going over that review with all of you guys.
This is just to keep the joke.
I hope that this joke becomes meta, and then it's not even the review we're waiting for; it's the bonus show.
Oh
where
no,
we go over the show.
It's totally happening, and I'm not joking. And the main thing is, I want to just kind of go over the review and see what I agree with, what I disagree with, what changed, what didn't. Kind of what we did here, but in a more this was written in stone, like in January of last year, kind of format. Might just be me, might be a few others. Who knows? We'll see. But keep an eye out for that. Otherwise, I released my Game of the Year article a couple of days ago. Had a good year of gaming. 2022 was a really nice year for gaming.
Hell yeah,
specifically.
Man. Where can people find that if they
Twitter, XboxEra? I mean, this is where I'm at, man. I don't have much. Yeah.
That's at Soulblazerz on Twitter, right?
Yep, it's on the screen. It's happening. I believe.
All right, well, guys, my name is Austin. Of course, you already know that because you follow me everywhere you can follow me. Instagram, Twitter, Hive, I guess, YouTube, Hive, Twitch.tv. Yeah. If you want to see me there, I'm probably there. Guys, thank you so much for watching You Had Me at Halo, episode 65. Until next time, we love you very much. Be safe, have fun, stay warm. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, guys.
The cat attacked me at the very end.
Oh, one sec.